Good day, YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the Albino Rhino beer review. This isn't a BDU. This is what's been happening lately on Thursday nights. I try to find something to do with somebody locally. I'm like, hey, anything at all going on? Anything at all. I don't care if I go to a fucking art show. Anything at all going on? Nobody gets back to me. So I end up on here. Tonight we will do if viewers show up, we'll do a question and answer. We'll also do some random stories. I'm sure some of you have heard some of my stories, some of you haven't. But, it's always something fun to do. Always something fun to do. So please ask your questions if you're around. If you're not around, sorry. We'll do another one at some point. I got to change my plugs at some point. These blue ones have been in for a few weeks. Don't like that all that much. I like to drink when I do these. It's true. Today we're going to start with a Miller Lite. And oh my God, why are you? Hey, that's the stitches are raised. The baseball stitches are raised on this. I never noticed that. That's how often I buy a Miller Lite product. Well, that's how often I buy Miller products in general. I just don't. So we'll drink the Miller Lite while we do this. No glass because we're not being classy tonight. Hello, dog. So yeah, first and foremost, for all those that are interested, as long as things go according to plan, I should get to see my children this weekend. It'll be the first time I've seen them in 4.5 months. So I am hoping everything goes according to plan so that comes through. Now, last night we went offline. Oh, good day, Greg. Evening, Chad. Hope you're all well. I'm as well as can be. I mean, I'm here drinking a Miller Lite. So I can't be doing that great. No, like I said, just like most Thursdays have been going on, I look for things to do. Nobody's around. I end up on here. Oh, I'm glad you have your fingers crossed. Like I said, I'm supposed to hear from Pathstones. They're supposed to call me to tell me if it's a yes or a no. And they still haven't, so I might have to call them tomorrow. But I try not to call them because every time you call, they note it on your file that you called. So they watch for a pattern of harassment and stuff. So they try not to call you to see what you do. Just like fax and everything else, they try to set you up to fail just to see what you can do. And I mean, it is what it is. So I'm going to try not to call. But if it's like 4 o'clock and they haven't called me yet to say yes or no, I'm calling them. So like I said, question and answer too. So if you guys have anything at all to ask me, go ahead and ask me before you ask. Yes, my pubes are white. Most of them, at least, if you know what I mean. No, I'm not Powder. No, I'm not Santa Claus. What other stupid ones do I get? No, I'm not Brother Ali. I don't know anymore. Random ones. So yeah. So last night too, when too much information. No, it's not too much information. There's never too much information when I'm involved. I'll tell you everything. Yeti. Yeah. People call me Yeti too. No, I'm not a Yeti. I get naked in the snow, though, and I become a snow assassin. You don't see me coming. Yeah, so last night, I don't know if it happened while we were online or offline. We stayed offline chatting until 3 a.m. We went offline at just before 11? Excuse me. No, maybe just after 11 because it was a 2.5-hour stream last night. So we went offline. I had my Guinness right here on the table. And my cell phone was, right here like it usually is in case I get a call about my kids, or in case I get a call from work, or my buddy Nail messages me or something. So it just sits there. And I was doing something. I was playing on another website while the guys were chatting. So yeah, we were offline. And my hand hit the cup. The cup went over. The entire beer was on top of the cell phone. Luckily, it still works. I started drying it off right away. I had to get something in the earpiece because there was liquid in there too. So that was fun. All my rings are sticky. All my dad's old rings. So I gotta clean those up tomorrow. That was a fun time. What else did we do last night? I played a little bit of video games, a little bit of Battlefield 1, trying to unlock more of the guns from the Russian expansion before it goes live. Just basically trying to have better guns than Chris when Chris comes to play. Again, once he gets into his new place and has internet. Took the dogs for a walk today. Helga is really picking up all the old bad shepherd traits. Oh my God, there's another dog on the other side of the road. She's perfectly fine. She won't bark at a dog if it's in its yard barking at her. She won't bark at a dog if it's in the house barking at her. But the second another dog is on a leash, she will kill that dog. Well, she acts like she'll kill that dog. And then Boris starts jumping. Boris won't do anything, but she gets him all riled up. And poor Chris. Yeah, see, basically, I'm trying to find things to do on Wednesday nights too. If I can find anything to do that involves people rather than sitting on the internet, I'll go and do them just because I need to get out. And Chris was asking me about next week. He's like, "Are you going to be here for the beer analysis 101?" I said, "Maybe, unless I find something else to do." And he goes, "Well, if you find anything else to do, I'm going to be sitting in your driveway leeching your internet." Yeah, you probably will be. Now, the best part about Helga there, Greg, is she is also English Mastiff. She's English Mastiff and German Shepherd. She basically looks like a German Shepherd, but she has the brindle of the English Mastiff and some of the white and stuff. And she looks like now she's beefing up into the Mastiff size. And she has a gigantic fucking tail. But anyway, the thing with her is she has the laziness of a Mastiff until she sees a ball. And the second she sees a ball, everything is out the window and she is ready to run for hours. Like she'll do miles of chasing that ball. And once she has the ball, she'll walk everywhere with that ball in her mouth. She's like, "Yeah, I got a ball. What you gonna do about it?" She always tries to get fuckhead back there to play ball with her. But he wants nothing to do. He wants nothing to do with balls. Unless it's, sacking you. So some guys from work came over Saturday night. Saturday night after work, they came over to have a few beers. And it was Jesse and Steve. Good day, Malted. So Jesse and Steve came over with me and sat them down. I'm like, okay, what are we, I'm going to let the dogs out of the cage. I'm like, Steve, you had boxers before, so I'm not going to give you the warning. Jesse, boxers jump and they aim for your nuts. They will sack you or headbutt you with their paws. Well, their paws or their head are going to hit you in the nuts. They're going to jump for your nuts. He's like, okay, I'll watch my nuts. I let the dogs out of their crates, and we realized that Helga pissed in her crate and rolled in it. So Helga's getting an emergency bath before I drink with the guys. And while I'm giving her an emergency bath, I hear, "Ooh!" and a big thud. And I come around the corner. Helga's soaking wet, running around the house because I stopped. I didn't hold her. I'm like, "What happened?" And Steve's laying on the ground. He's like, "I forgot that the dog aims for the nuts. I turned my back for a second." So Steve, the man that has had 2 boxers in his life, was sacked and knocked over by Boris. Boris the nut killer. I thought that was pretty good. I was impressed with him. I was impressed. Right, Boris? He's tired. We just got back from our walk. Another thing that they both like to do, and none of you care, but no one's asking me questions, so I'm just rambling right now. Bro, I'm interviewing Anthony Wills tomorrow, owner of Kitchmore Distillery. Nice, sir. Nice. Yes, Garen. Boris the Nut Killer. So yeah, we the one thing that they both like to do, both the Shepherd and the fucking piece of shit boxer that's just looking at me out of one eye. They like to shit after we pass all the garbage cans on our walk. We have a path that's an hour and 45-minute walk, and we can knock out side streets each time to knock out 15 minutes. I can knock it all the way down to an hour walk instead of an hour and 45 by knocking out 3 different side streets. And we have about 8 garbage cans that we can pass. And they will both wait till we're past all 8 garbage cans, and we're about 20 minutes out from the garbage can, so there's no chance of turning around to do it before they shit. And then I have to carry that shit for 40 minutes with me. Fucking. Come on, some questions. Give me some questions. What jobs have I had in my life? I've been a bouncer, bartender, bar manager. I've been a McBitch at McDonald's, grill and overnight maintenance. I was the dough master at a Pizza Hut. I was a garbage man. I was a janitor. I worked at Excess Cargo, a liquidation store, as their shipper receiver and as a maintenance guy and sales. The McBitch was probably the best job. No, the garbage man was easy. It was just pitching things into the garbage. Bouncer, always been easy job, as long as you're okay fighting. I've been a bouncer at a strip club. I've been a bouncer at a dance club. I've been a bouncer at a golf club. I've been a bouncer at regular bars. I worked one shift at a crack bar. All I'm going to say about it is it was in St. Catharines, and the bouncer was stationed at the kitchen, not the front door. And I lasted about an hour and a half before I said, I'm out of here. And I took off, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not working for you guys. I know exactly what's going on here. Throw the dog shit at Chris Peters' house. I'd be carrying it for a lot longer if I was throwing it at his house. Have I ever thought about brewing my own beer? I actually do homebrew every once in a while. I haven't in a few months. I got rid of my homebrewing equipment so that I had more time with my kids right before my ex-wife left. And now I just don't have the money to buy the stuff again. But I will be doing a bunch of collaboration brews with a bunch of Ontario craft breweries over the next few months. We were going to start doing them in October. So over the next few months, from October until February, we're going to brew 6 to 12. I have 8 breweries lined up right now. So we're aiming for somewhere in 6 to 12. And I say 6, even though I have 8 lined up, because you never know what's going to go on, scheduling conflicts and stuff. But we'll do collaboration beers. And we will be selling, the beers will be sold, and part of the profits will go to the Canadian Mental Health Association, so the CMHA. Basically, all my beer events that I do and beer things I do are charity based, and that's where we are with it. That's going to go to the CMHA. My one beer festival goes to the Ronald McDonald House. If I ever do the other beer festival again, it goes to the Canadian Prostate Cancer Society. I have contemplated doing a few other charitable things. We talked about doing the 24-hour stream for charity if we got enough people interested. And I mean, the problem with that is that you have to have people that are willing to donate to the charity. I've also talked about doing the Edward 40 hands somehow for charity, but I mean, that's kind of stupid. Most charities don't want you to drink your face off, but not most people. Good day, drunken one. Now, beers I've brewed myself. I've brewed a lime wheat ale. I've done my root toot stoot, which was a root beer stout. I did a nice coffee pale ale. I've done a coffee dark ale. Done a bunch of coffee. Can you get off the vent so I can get some cold air? Hey, hey, get off the vent. Greg, which dog's lying on the vent? Which dog would lie on the vent and take all the cold air? What else do we have? 24-hour live stream on. Yeah, there's been drinking. Yeah, there would be. So where was I going? Oh yeah, so we've talked about different beers that we want to do. So with Nickelbrook, we're going to do something something sour at their Funk Lab. So I'll be going to Burlington to do that. With Plan B, we've talked about doing 2 beers. We've talked about doing a Viva Puff beer, and we've talked about doing something with peanut butter. We don't know what yet. With Wooden Horse, we want to do Wooden Horse's dry Irish stout, but change the hops to all cashmere hops and change one of the malts to a more roasty malt, and then it almost will give off a barrel-aged effect without being barrel-aged, because you're going to get a lot of roastiness and tannic wood and a lot of coconut, and I think that'll be intriguing. Yeah, it was the German Shepherd. What else do we have? With Together We're Bitter, I haven't talked to Colum at all yet, but we'll figure out something. Caramel peanut butter stout, that might work. The problem with doing a caramel peanut butter stout at Plan B is they have the half barrel system, so it's only like 1 keg a batch. So if we do something like that, I don't think we'll make any money back, because the brewery wants to at least recoup its costs, make a little bit, and then we donate. Well, most places are saying we're going to donate $2 a bottle. With places like Plan B and the Cayman Kettle, we're probably looking at more like $1 a glass. Probably pour off 2 crowlers, one for myself and one to send to somebody. But the rest would be just $1 a glass, and at $5 a glass, they're going to make about $1 per glass, and then donate $1 per glass, and the other $3 would go to the costs of it all. You know what, Greg? You're completely right. There is no with German Shepherds. There is no concept of personal space. She will sit between. Well, Boris does it too. They'll both sit between your legs while you're taking a dump on the toilet. She will try to jump on your lap while you're taking a dump on the toilet. When you're going to sleep, she's trying to put her head under your neck, under your chin, or bury it behind your head, or whatever she can do to just be as close to you as possible. Basically, most of these beers are going to be brewery only. Some of them will be licensees. It all matters what we're doing, like which brewery it is. Nickelbrook has talked about doing putting it into one of their mix packs. TWB doesn't have any distribution, so it'll only be at TWB. The same with Plan B, and the same with the Cayman Kettle. Brimstone's talked about putting it into 1 or 2 of their licensees as well, because we'll be using their 2-barrel system instead of their 7-barrel system. Wellington has talked about putting it into a bunch of their licensees. So we still don't know what we're doing with Wellington. I haven't talked to Wellington's brewmaster in about 4 years. However, I'll be doing this beer with one of my favorite people in the industry, and that will be George Eagleson. And George is the most amazing guy that you'll ever meet in the brewing industry. He just makes you laugh the entire time you're talking to him. He was the guy that gave us the tour at Stonehammer when we did our beerumentary there, where everybody said we were so unprofessional because we were laughing the whole time. But you didn't get to see everything that was going on. Like, he was a hysterical man, and he was very, very, very excited. And one of his favorite beers he's ever made, which was one of the worst beers he's ever made, was a smoked meat and asparagus beer, and he called it Why Not. So really, I'm excited to be doing this beer with him, because we're both very, very imaginative, and we're both very, very not caring about what other people are going to like about it or not, because it's a charity beer. People will buy it anyway just to try it. So who knows what's going to come from Wellington. Yes, he brewed the Baltic Porter before he left. I don't know if it's the exact same recipe now. I would assume it is, but I haven't had it since, well, for a while now. Next beer will be Bud Light Radler. Oh, it's another macro chat. Yes, it is. I haven't been drunk since May, since I started on my different meds, and really a lot of these meds I can't drink on very heavy. So things like the Bud Light Radler, the Stiegl Radler, light beers, that's mostly what I drink most of the time now if I'm going to drink. And unfortunately, that means for the most part I'm drinking macro beer most of the time, because there's not a lot of easily accessible light craft beers or basically light craft beers that I would drink every day for weeks on end, you know, like, and I don't drink every day, but you know what I'm saying, just stuff that I would put down all the time. It's hard to find that stuff. So, you know, this stuff happens. You have a wonderful night, Malted. My hair looks fantastic today. Are you trying to get me in bed, sir? My hair looks the same as it always looks until I shave. I actually want to shave so bad. I want to shave off the beard. I want to shave off the hair. I want to go bald again, but have the goatee. And I think, you know, women like that more than this. But I'm playing Santa at the end of November for an art show, so I can't shave. And yeah, I know it's not that long, but this is like a week and a half of growth. I'll have a good beard by the time November 22nd comes along. As long as I can find a new Santa suit, because I don't have a Santa suit anymore. It does actually come. What are you talking about, Dullahan? What are? Oh, my hair looks fantastic today. Muskoka Cream Ale. You know, people love Muskoka Cream Ale. I don't mind it. I don't hate it. I don't mind it. People love Mad Tom. I don't hate it. I don't mind it. Twice Mad Tom. I don't hate it. I don't mind it. Their lager, I dislike. Way too hopped for me. I don't know if they've changed the recipe over the years, but when I've had it in the past, just way too hoppy. If I'm drinking just a blonde lager, I want it to be basically just a little bit of malt and maybe a tiny bit of hops. Their winter beard I used to love. The Legendary Oddity I love. The Harvest I usually am okay with. The Winter Jack, which was winter beard in Jack Daniel's barrels, is amazing. They had a Mad Tom in cognac barrels, which was awesome too, but it was expensive as fuck. The Shinnicked Stout was a good stout, but it was supposed to be a coffee stout, and there wasn't enough coffee there to make it a coffee stout. It was just a fucking dry Irish stout. Okay, fuck you guys at Muskoka. It was a fine beer until you told me it was it was a coffee stout, and as soon as you told me it was a coffee stout, not really a great beer anymore. The Kolsch, the peach Kolsch, Kirby's Kolsch, not a bad beer. It was actually quite enjoyable. So yeah, Muskoka makes some good products, and I enjoy them. But excuse me, there's not a lot of them that I love, and the ones I love only come out rarely and are expensive. But the oddity, I'm actually so glad that they put it in the cans, and I'm so glad they lowered the price on it. Now I buy it as often as I can. Winter Weiss is pretty good. That's the black wheat, isn't it? The dark wheat, because they have a dark wheat and they have a golden wheat. Detour is drinkable. know. See, my thing is, I love supporting local. I love supporting craft breweries. But when you buy a cream ale and when you buy a blonde lager, both of them stylistically should be almost tasteless. And too many craft breweries go into these styles and think, hey, how can we make it so much different than everybody else? And I think that's why I steer clear of so many craft brewery lagers and craft brewery cream ales, because they're not going to do justice to the style. They're going to take it and do whatever they want with it. And it's gonna end up being way too hoppy, because what they're going to do is they're going to take more New World hops and throw them in almost an Old World recipe. And it's just going to overshadow everything else. So I usually steer clear of them. There are some really good ones out there. Amsterdam's 3-speed lager, great light lager. It actually tastes the way it's supposed to taste. Anti-gravity ale from anti-gravity lager, from Flying Monkeys. Stonehammer Light. Like, those were all light beers that were done properly. What do we have here? It's the Dunkelweizen, the chewy tobacco thing going on. Yeah. Glad Flying Monkeys Paranormal Pumpkin Ale is only $4.95 and not $7.95 a can. I can't find it on the LCBO website yet. I went to the LCBO website today looking for all the beers you said were listed, and none of them were listed. Well, actually, one of them was listed, but it wasn't listed for sale online. I was only able to put $22 worth of new beers in my cart, so I'm like, I'll have to come back to this next week and try again. Hopefully the new beers that I did have in my cart aren't gone, because they're beers I've never seen around here, like Mascot Pilsner. Not that I want to drink another Pilsner, but I've never had anything from Mascot Brewery. What else was on there? A new beer from Junction was on there. There was another can by somebody, and there was the coffee porter from Left Field, and I know for a fact that'll be sold out by the time I can find enough money, like enough beers to put in there, because there was only 8 left when I added it to the cart. Now, there's 5 of you here. Again, it's question and answer time. Ask me some questions, damn it. Yeah, she's taking the fucking vent again. Fucking dogs. See, yeah, I went through. I just went through the entire beer list and just picked up anything that's new off that beer list. And it wasn't on the beer list. How did I feel after hanging out so late last night? I was fine. I don't normally go to bed until 4 a.m. So it's when it's after 4 that it's a bad thing. I take my last pill usually at 3:30, and it knocks me out come 4:15. So if I don't take it at that time, I'm still fine. But like that pill actually puts me to sleep. It just kills me. So that's why I do it at 3:30, because I normally get home from work, I walk the dogs, I sit down and watch one TV show, and then I go to bed. How did you feel after hanging out last night, drunken one? Did I enjoy my surprise pizza? It was a buffalo chicken pizza, so it was very rich. I didn't know that they made buffalo chicken pizzas over there. I thought they only did like cheese and pepperoni. So when he handed it to me, I'm like, "What's this?" And I could tell what it was right after. And the taquitos were all buffalo chicken too. So there was a lot of buffalo chicken going on last night. My anus didn't like it in the morning, because it's 7-Eleven taquitos. It's not like they're fresh. They're just sitting there forever. I don't think Jasmine changed them when she was supposed to. It was a good night though. I mean, I enjoyed talking to everybody that late. I enjoyed having Brian, who was one of our viewers, join us afterwards. I enjoyed a lot of what went on last night. There we go. Let's turn that off. Let's turn it back on. There we go. It's too long. It's too long. I got to take the about it, whatever out. Now, at the end, you guys were all talking, and I was playing video games. I was listening. I had it playing in my earpiece, so I could hear everything that was going on, but I wasn't actively talking. You could only hear me when I was talking through Chris's microphone. So, and it's really weird to hear the delay. Excuse me, because I had the earpiece in, and I'd hear Chris say something, and then it would almost echo him like a second and a half later. So it's so weird to deal with the echo on those things. Did you get your soggy laptop? I didn't have a laptop up here. My laptops are all downstairs. I have 3 laptops downstairs. 2 of them are too old to get on the internet because I can't update them, and I'm not paying for the updates, which is why I can't update them. I could update them, but I'm not paying to get Windows 10 so they can go on the internet, or Windows 8 so they can go on the internet, or anything like that. They're way back in like Vista days. And then my other laptop's downstairs, and it's a fucking stream book. It sucks. I have it for the beer festival. We bring it to be the hotspot for when we're checking in tickets and stuff. What I dropped all the beer on was the keyboard of this computer, because I'm on a desktop up here, and the phone. And the phone is what I cared about. The if I destroyed the fucking keyboard, I had 4 more keyboards down in the basement, because I'm Irish. I keep everything. I get something, I keep it. Pack rat. Right? Not like the scary pack rats that were on the TV shows, but yeah, I had to dry out the earpiece though. It was weird. It didn't sound right. No, I didn't go out with any friends. I wish I did. I was actually. I wish I had went to the karaoke last night, Greg. Hit on some ladies, sing some karaoke, do stuff like that. My Mr. Angus Wangus rolled back into town. My drinking buddy has returned. He introduced me to your channel last night. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it enough to come back. Jace is convinced Mr. Angus Wangus isn't real. Sometimes I think it's like Lee or somebody just trolling. I mean, a lot of the guys that are on this panel have like 8 different fucking YouTube accounts just to screw with people. So sometimes I am wary that people are them and not real people. Like Jace, sometimes I don't think Jace is real. I think Jace is Joe. No, I don't. We are pack rats. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like it's when the door ripped out of the hinges a few days back, like a couple weeks back, from the last vlog, when the door ripped out of the hinges, and I put the tap comms in to hold it in, and those three screws, I kept them. I put them back in the bucket of screws. Oh, yeah, there's nothing wrong with these screws. Put them back in. Like that's just how I was raised. It was why throw it out if it's good? If it's not good, just get rid of the shit. If it's taking up space that you need, just get rid of the shit. But if it's small, if it's insignificant, if it's something you could use again, you keep it. You go into my garage and you look up, and on top of the rafters is like an extra closet door, some extra gutters, like just everything I've collected is up there. I have some metal flashing that I have to put on my basement windows. And I've had to put them on the basement windows for the entire 8 years I've lived in the house. I've just never gotten around to it. I just keep staining the wood. I keep staining and caulking the wood instead of putting the flashing up. So one day I'll get around to that. Greg, people get angry about stereotypes, but when you actually sit there and you think about the stereotypes of your own culture, you realize just why they're around, because a lot of them are based in fact. I mean, they are the more extreme facts about the culture, but it's funny because I mean that's just it, right? You make generalizations about the Irish, about, oh, they're going to drink beer, they're going to drink whiskey, they're going to be cheap, they're going to keep this, they're going to keep that, they're going to, and that's what we do. I mean, my dad is hangs out with all Irish and Scottish people. They're all the exact same as him. It's the scariest thing around. By the way, I was kidding around. Mr. Angus Wangus sounds like the family dog. See, Jace is trying to take the he's trying to take the spotlight off of him now that I've said that I don't think he's real. It's like, oh my god, I got to put it on somebody else. Your tablet died. Good. I'm glad your tablet died. No, I'm not glad. Excuse me. Ooh. So I'm at the point now of my workouts that I don't have heavy enough weights to do the bicep curls I need to do. So what I've been doing to cheat that is I have ankle weights that were my ex-wife's that she forgot she even had. So unless she watches this, she doesn't know she had them. But I've been taking those ankle weights and putting them on my wrist to add an extra 10 pounds on each hand while I'm doing my curls now. Yeah, so again, an Irish thing, right? I don't want to spend $200 on new weights, because I mean I'm up to buying 90-pound dumbbells when I buy my next set, and those are $95 a piece. So yeah, I don't want to buy them if I don't have to. Should just keep buying $10 ankle weights and just line my arms with ankle weights. I think that might work. I think it might work. I also have to buy I have 60, 70, and 80-pound dumbbells, but I have to get a set of 50s for another exercise I do, and maybe even 45s. 45s are expensive, and I think that's just because they're the most commonly stuffed. Make your own. Well, you know what? When I used to work out in Ottawa, that's what we did. We went to a gym that was mostly set up for strongmen, which is what I was doing back then. So it had, the big tractor tires. It had kegs filled with water. It had kegs that had the tops cut off and then filled up with rocks to be and heavier. It just had things. You were lifting things. You didn't have weights because those are so expensive. But you could get a giant fucking 300-pound tire for $20 when the farm is getting rid of it. So that's the type of stuff they did. You're exhausted just walking to the beer store. You know what? I was so out of shape. I'm still a fat man. That's why the women aren't after me right now. But I'm getting back into the shape I needed to be. I think I've lost a lot of weight. I have to wear a belt now, but I don't know if I really have. I don't weigh myself. I know my arms are hard as rocks again, which is what I wanted. I know I can bounce my boobs again, which is what I wanted. I know I can bounce my shoulder blades again, which is what I wanted. So the muscle memory was there, and I just had to start training it again. It sucks, though, trying to do burpees with two dogs that want you to love them, because the second you do a burpee and you're down, they're attacking your head. And so I usually I do burpees between my sets of weights. So what I'll do is I'll throw a dog ball into the other room, and then do my burpees while they're fighting over the ball. And then they come back, and I'm doing my set, and they don't bother me when I'm doing my set because I've hit them with the weights before, because I don't pay attention to them. I'm just doing my curls and stuff, right? So they've gotten hit with the weights, so they don't come near me when the weights are being lifted. But as soon as the weights go down, they're on me. So then I have to throw the ball and do my shit. See, and I have to either taxi or walk everywhere I go. So it's one of those things too where I'm walking a lot, and I take the dogs for, like I said, an hour and 45-minute walk. So it is. Well, Boris, I can bench easily. He's only 45 pounds right now. That's not hard. It's when my buddy Nail came over last week, I had his girlfriend sit on my shoulders while I did push-ups, and she was amazed. Yeah, I used to do it with a 250-pound guy sitting on my shoulder, so I got to get back up to that too. Oh, what are we going to drink next, guys? What are we going to drink next? You know what? Next is going to be Flying Monkeys, 12 Minutes to Destiny. So I think I told this. No, I didn't tell this online. Okay, so I'm walking the dogs on Tuesday, I think it was, before work, and these kids are there, and they're like, "Can we pet your dog? Your dog? Well, can we pet your dogs? Sure." You know, I move up a few feet because we were right in front of a house that had a dog. So you know how dogs are when you're right in front of their house. They're like, I'm like, just let me get away from this house. Get away from the house. Get them to sit. Grab onto Boris's harness because he jumps because he's a stupid boxer. I love boxers, but they're stupid at the same time. So I'm holding his harness. They're like, "What, does he bite?" I go, "No, he just jumps. He's an idiot." So they come up and they start petting him, and I'm paying attention to the dogs, right? I'm holding both the dogs down because Helga jumps now because of Boris, and I don't need either of them to jump on a kid. And as I'm paying attention to the dogs and holding them on the ground, like 6 more kids like converge on them and start like trying to pet Helga. And German Shepherd, Mastiff, doesn't really like being surrounded. She's and crawling back. I'm like, "What the hell, kids? Back up. Like, you guys can pet her, but don't swarm a dog ever. It doesn't matter that she's a puppy. You don't swarm a dog." Bet you wouldn't do it with Paul on your shoulders. Give me another few months, and I probably could. I don't think he'll sit on my shoulders, though. Good evening, Al. Where can you find brewing equipment in Niagara? I bought all my brewing equipment online from Toronto Brewing Equipment and across the border in Niagara Falls, New York at Niagara Homebrew Supply. There is apparently a homebrew store here in Niagara on Lundy's Lane, but the Surly Leprechaun is now the only homebrew store that I know of for sure in the area. The Lundy's Lane one I hear is a front. I don't know how much equipment they have, but Surly Leprechaun in St. Catharines has everything you're going to need. They also are the ones that they opened up after the Brewmonger closed. The Brewmonger was Niagara's legitimate homebrew supply store. And they closed because they just didn't have enough business. And I'm hoping that the Surly Leprechaun is able to hold on to it. It's just, we're in a weird spot of Ontario where there's just so many craft breweries too. And wine is the big thing here. So I don't know. It's weird. But if you're looking at buying like conical fermenters and all that, it's mostly going to have to be bought online. Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. Is the one on Lundy's and Stanley Thorold, sorry. And then again, the Surly Leprechaun in St. Catharines. Though I don't think his hours are the greatest. I believe he does it as a part-time on the side thing because he was mad that Brewmonger closed and he couldn't get stuff anymore. But if you have a passport, believe it's on Military Road, Niagara Homebrew Supply. Basically has everything. That's great staff. They know everything they need to know. There's also there's a couple stores right across the border, and they're basically the best bet. But yeah. I think I have 3 airlocks and 4 buckets left. And one of the buckets became a puke bucket. One of the buckets became a cement mixing bucket. And the other 2 I haven't used for it. Oh, I think I have the bottling bucket downstairs too, but I don't have no tubing for it because I had to use the tubing. I ended up being Irish and being cheap. I used the tubing, the food grade tubing from the bottling bucket to fix my pump from the furnace to the sink. So my evaporation pump, my overflow pump, was completely clogged, and I couldn't unclog. I could unclog the pump by letting Javex sit in it for 48 hours, but I couldn't unclog the tubing. And I am lazy and cheap and didn't want to go and buy new tubing, so I had enough tubing from the bottling bucket to run the line that I needed, so I ran that line. I don't know if Northern Brewer delivers stuff to us, to be honest. So it's Surly Leprechaun isn't like Brewmonger. Then he doesn't have everything, because Brewmonger had everything you needed. They didn't have a huge selection of it, but they had everything you needed. And the Toronto one worked too. I mean, I would buy a lot of my hops and specialty grains and stuff from Toronto and get it shipped to me. I think shipping was $8, unless you spent over $100, but I could easily just spend over $100. And because it's coming from Toronto, it was quick. Ontario Beverage Kegs, yeah, they deliver some stuff too. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Like I said, unless you can go into the U.S. I know that Darren just said he's not allowed in the U.S., which means he did something bad. Bad boy. I need to get my passport, but I'm not going to get it yet, because even if I get it, I'm still not allowed in the U.S. for another 3 months. And it's not anything I did. It's one of the meds I was prescribed. You have to wait a certain amount of time before you can even cross the border, because there's going to be trace amounts in your blood for a few months. So, yeah. Cheers to that. Bucket juice inside and sugar, yeah. Well, you need some yeast too. Don't forget the yeast. Then probably some juice again to back sweeten it. Hell, make prison wine. Some bread, some juice, some ketchup, whatever you can find. Put it in a bag and put the bag in the back of your toilet. Come back after a week or two. You get that from the GF. I don't have a GF. Fuck you. There was a beer. There was a beer that was made with human yeast. They had a big Kickstarter about it a few years back. It was an expensive beer too. What other questions do you guys have? Come on, there's 5 of you here. Come on, throw out some questions. I don't have to tell the same old stories. Excuse me. Yeah, there has been a few beard yeast beers too. I don't have the beard I used to have, so you're not going to get a good deal of yeast out of mine. That whole story was funny though, when they were doing the beard yeast, when Rogue was doing that. You know, our brewmaster's been drinking great craft beers for 20 years. He's had his giant beard that whole time. It's full of yeast, and we're going to culture the yeast out of his beard. And everybody's like, "Oh my God, I'm going to be drinking his beard. Oh, it's so disgusting." No, when you finally have cultured a yeast, nothing is the same as the original place they found the first organism. Like the girl's vagina yeast beer. You're not drinking the girl's vagina yeast at all. By the time they are done culturing it and they actually put it into the beer, there's no trace left of her vagina culture. Good night, Greg. Oh, I'm almost out of OV. I'm sad. OV is my macro of choice. I think I have 2 left in the fridge. So I got to talk somebody into driving me to the beer store because I mean, Lundy's Lane isn't that far away, but to walk there will be just over an hour. And then to walk home with a case of beer at over an hour, no, I'm not doing it. Okay, if the lady's not from Welland, you really shouldn't have a problem. So I'm going to put a little story here in the comment section because a certain person may or may not end up seeing this. Yeah. And yeah, yeah. What else should we talk about? Home brewing stuff. Let's get off the girl's yeast. What else can we talk about? There you go. See, I don't buy OV in tall boy. I buy it in bottle form. I enjoy it in bottle form. You know, another macro beer that nobody really thinks about that I enjoyed. It was Mickey's. I guess it's not really a beer. It's a malt liquor made by Miller. I don't even know if Anheuser-Busch or Molson Coors now owns Mickey's brand because some of the Miller brands went to Molson when AB InBev bought them. But I always liked Mickey's. I especially liked the riddles under the caps because the drunker you got, the harder they were to solve. And you could chug a grenade in seconds, like 3 seconds flat, bang. I actually have a video. I think I was doing 3 grenades. And it was hard because they were cold. Ooh, it hurt the throat. Because for some reason, the grenades get colder than you'd expect. I mean, in the same fridge, I could have a normal bottle, and you would think that the normal bottle would be colder because it's tall and slender, and you'd think that thermodynamics would make it end up being colder. But I don't know if the glass is thinner on the grenades or what it is, but those things were fucking icicles. It's a good thing I won a brain freeze contest when I lived in Ottawa because chugging those hurt. I've drank Steam Whistle by can and enjoyed it, but I was given 2 cases directly off the line. Like they were 5 minutes old, and I drank them within 2 weeks. Me and my buddies here in the basement, we did the Chug-a-Lug contest with them, and we used some of them in one of our the Century Club challenges, the Centurion. Century Club 2.0 was our dumbest drinking game. That was when we did it with all imperial stouts and imperial IPAs. Not a smart thing for me to do. But yeah, it was what it was. What else? What other stupid drinking games have we done other than the Chug-a-Lug was good, and you knew how the Chug-a-Lug was going to end, and it was how it ended. Me versus Paul and Paul destroyed me. I'm pretty sure he's shoved a lot of things down his throat because he has absolutely no gag reflex. He can just open his throat and let it down. That's how he did the Guinness Gauntlet in what, like 17 seconds? Who the fuck can drink 4 cans of Guinness in 17 seconds? Oh, wait, Paul can. No, I think it was 23. It doesn't matter. It was under 30 seconds. That's just stupid. That's stupid. Stupid. That side. No one commented on my story. You guys didn't like my story? So why won't you drink Steam Whistle by the can, Darren? Okay. Sorry, I had a text message. Just was reading it. Don't. Member dude, no, I do not. Not that I have anything against it. When I was younger, I was a national caliber athlete for wrestling. I was a provincial caliber athlete for rugby. I did the strongman. I did the Highland Games. I had my blood tested regularly. So I didn't do any drugs. And because I didn't do them younger, I just haven't done them. Next year when it's legal, maybe I'll try it. Again, not that I have anything against it. It's just not something I ever started. So it's not something I've ever done. I have a lot of friends that smoke a lot, and I've just not had interest in it. And again, it's not that I have anything against it. It's just that I grew up not doing it because I had to keep my blood clean all the time. I've had some people say that. I've also had some people say they hate it together. So, I mean, just like everything, though, it comes down to personal opinion. I don't know if I'll like it. I don't know if I will. I might like it. I might not like it. I've just never tried it. And I mean, I could try it right now. I have enough people that would just give it to me if I asked for it. But I can wait. I can wait another 6 or 7 months. Well, what, 8 or 9 months? I can wait that long before I try it. Plus, I shouldn't be doing that on some of the pills I'm on right now. So by the time it's legal, I should be off of what I'm on. And we'll go from there. Okay, what other questions do we have, guys? Come on. People have questions. Let's go. Let's go. Throw out some questions. Ask me a question. Any question. You might not like the answer, but I'll answer pretty much everything. Excuse me. What do we have here? Member Dube again. They said it was going to be $10 a gram. If you've never smoked a gram, will go a long way for you. Yeah, I don't know how things will go, but like I said, we'll go from there. I do like, however, how the Ontario government tried to act as if they set the prices in their last news article, where they were saying it was $10 a gram, where it was set by the federal government, and they were saying this is what it's going to be sold for. There you are. Somebody texted me. All right, Mr. Chad, I'm moving on. I might pop back in a minute. Alrighty, Drunken One, you have a wonderful time. Hello, Fury. Hello, Donna. Though I am, starting to believe Donna doesn't exist. Starting to believe it. No, so yeah, again, open, ask questions. If you don't ask questions, you get stupid stories from me. And stupid stories from me just, I have a lot of stories, but a lot of them, like I've been online now. I've been doing this for 9 years. So a lot of stories have been told over those 9 years. So, there are going to be some rehashes. So, yeah. You missed a lot of juicy stuff. You did. No one missed any juicy stuff. There's never anything juicy. I'm grabbing Molson Canadian tonight because it's $13.50 for a 6-pack of 473 milliliters. I know it doesn't taste like much, but sometimes I like that. And see, Memer dude, that's when I grab just a macro, it's usually going to be Old Vienna, $34.95 a 2-4. Yeah, it's just bottles, but I can put that stuff back all night without a problem. That's the only problem with buying it, is I can be done it in like 2 or 3 days. No, she doesn't. In all honesty, though, when it comes to that, personality matters to me more than anything else. I've always said one thing about relationships, and it's, beauty fades, so I don't really care what you look like. It's because what good is a pretty box if it's just empty inside, right? You want something to be inside that box. So the personality matters the most. Honesty, loyalty, trust, caringness, wanting to better yourself or help others. Basically a lot of those things are the same with me. When it comes to hobbies, I don't care if they have the same hobbies as me, because I actually would rather them have some different hobbies. One, so they can have their own time, and two, so that maybe I'm introduced to something new. One of the girls I dated a few months back was all like, "Oh, we have everything in common." Like, yeah, that drives me insane. It does. And then yeah. Upper Canada got me through the summer, through a summer or two. Authenticity and compassion sounds like a great start, but scarce today. And that's just it, right? Al, that's just it, right? Compassion, authenticity, trust, loyalty, honesty. There's so many people that lie about so many things, and I don't get why you would. Yeah, I carried something with me for 20 years that I didn't admit to people, but I didn't really lie about it, because the people that were closest to me knew I had it, and the people that weren't didn't, because they didn't need to. And now that I've opened up about that, it's opened me up to a lot of things. It's actually why I now do so many things with kids with problems. I just did my latest John Howard Society talk on Tuesday night before I went to work. So I walked the dogs, I went and did my John Howard thing, and then I came home and went to work. And it was talking to kids with mental illness and who couldn't get jobs because of it. And it was talking to them about how they feel, why they feel that way, and the things they can do to move forward. When I used to do CNIB talks, it was for the same type of thing. There was so many people with visual impairments, but that had more vision than me, that grew up with family that wouldn't let them do anything. So it was, this is what I do. This is what my visual acuity is. Do not let your visual acuity stop you. You can do whatever you want. My ex, when she left me, she thought I'd fall apart. She thought I wouldn't be able to survive. Here I am, perfectly fine, taking care of my dogs, going to work, taking care of the house, I actually have time to do the things that I never had time to do, because I would get 2 to 3 hours of sleep and then be up with the kids the whole time, and then go right back to work. So I had no energy, I had no time, and I was dealing with the shit I was dealing with internally. And now I've dealt with that stuff. I've done the things I had to do to better myself. I've done the things I could do to help others that were going through the same type of problems. And why are you having a nightmare, Boris? Boris, hey, wake up. And where was I there? And it's given me the time to fix the things around the house that I had to fix. You ever see a blind guy up on a roof fixing shingles? Because I've done that. I have no problem doing that. I've been in the attic a few times doing wiring and stuff. It's an intriguing thing. Sooner or later, you have to talk to them. Yeah, it's true. Sooner or later, you have to talk to women. Um, you know what? This is the thing, right? You do online stuff. You do like emails and shit to women and all that, and it's horrible. I can talk. I can talk in person. I can talk online. I can talk. Well, in person it's weird. I can open up in person if I know you and like you, or if I don't know if I'm ever going to see you again. But like. If I am going to see you all the time and I don't know if I trust you yet, it's hard for me to open up in front of you. But if I don't know you and I'm not going to see you again, I don't care. I'll tell you anything. Online, it's easy. I don't see your faces. I don't see if you're judging me. I don't see what you actually think. So online, like this is simple. Sometimes people think I'm Italian instead of Irish because sometimes I talk with my hands. My favorite 70s or 80s rock band. In the 70s, probably like Skinnerd and AC/DC and I actually AC/DC is one of those things where they have a whole bunch of albums out, and the only way they can have a whole album of goods, all the songs being good, is if you took all their hits and put them all on one CD. But that being said, I think it's amazing that their original singer was never with them when they were famous. That Bon Scott was their bus driver, and that when Bon Scott, who had the most unique voice in rock and roll, even more unique than Ozzy Osbourne, when Bon Scott died, they were able to find somebody that sounded just like him. Like that's amazing to me. Ozzy, Black Sabbath, 80s rock. I don't know. For 80s bands, I was more into in the 80s. I was probably more into metal type of stuff. Metallica, Megadeth, not like death metal like it is today, like actual harmonic melodic metal. But rock. I don't know. Aerosmith. Well, Aerosmith was before the 80s. I don't fucking know. Who would I? U2 was before the U2 was before the 80s, weren't they? Oh fuck. Lies that cover pain are not the same as lies that cover truth. You know what? I actually kind of agree with that. That which does not kill us serves to make us stronger. I don't fully know if I agree with that, but yeah, sounds like a history of pain and betrayal. Trauma can influence everything we do. Bon Scott was amazing, and yeah, there was a history of that. But Henry Rollins for you, yeah, Henry Rollins works. You know what? Danzig, and The Pursuit of Happiness. However, the greatest thing about The Pursuit of Happiness is watching their lead singer get one punch knocked out at a bar when I was a bouncer. Yeah. Rock bands were around in the 80s. What do we have? Guns N' Roses. Yeah, they were okay. Bon Jovi, Motley Crue, Def Leppard. AC/DC's on this list, and so is Aerosmith and Van Halen, but they were all 60s bands, 70s bands. What do we got? Poison. I had to look up some 80s bands because, timing. Most of these 80s bands are from the 70s, though. Well, started in the 70s. Kiss, U2, Whitesnake, Journey, Iron Maiden. The Scorpions, yeah, I didn't really care for the Scorpions. Black Sabbath, it was started in 68, so fuck them. Led Zeppelin, 68. Twisted Sister, 72. I liked Twisted Sister, too. The Rolling Stones, 1962. You know what? You don't realize how old some people are until you actually look up when they started. Judas Priest started in 69. I did not realize that. Skid Row was 86. Pink Floyd was 65. Wow. Rat, 82. I don't really know Rat. Cinderella, I know a few. Quiet Riot was in the 70s. Police were in the 70s. Fleetwood Mac. Dire Straits. What did I click on? ZZ Top, yeah, I loved ZZ Top too. They started in '69, but I'd still count them as a '70s band more than anything. Nirvana, '80s band. Never even thought of them. Can't believe I didn't think of them. Warrant. We used to do a cover of a Warrant song, a really good cover of a Warrant song. Duran Duran. Sorry, you're looking at my head right now. I didn't. Motorhead, enjoyed Motorhead too, but Lemmy's voice was just fucked. Like another guy that had such a weird voice. The Hip, yeah, the Hip, the Hip. Grace 2 was one of my favorite songs by the Hip. Wheat Kings was another one. The Darkest Ones. Fiddler's Green. New Orleans is Sinking is a good song, but it wasn't one of my favorite songs by them. I like their more melodic songs than their more upbeat stuff. Do you like Pearl Jam? There is a lot of good Pearl Jam songs. Yes, there really is. Beastie Boys. Yeah, the Beastie Boys are out there. Tool and Primus. Yeah, Tool and Primus. The Ramones. April Wine had some really good songs. Yeah, they really did. I actually covered some of their stuff too. We did a lot of weird musical things for ourselves. I mean, our band was, we did everything from country all the way up to metal, and everything in between. We did some funk songs, some emo songs. Actually, the drummer for our band ended up becoming Canadian famous. He became Canada famous, and I wish we had let him sing his songs with us, because then I would have been Canada famous too. But yeah, for those of you wondering who I'm talking about, he did more emo music. He did a lot of the like pop emo stuff with the whiny voice and all that. You can go look him up right now if you want on YouTube. His band's name was Crush Luther. His name was Derek Luther Mallory, and when he left our band and went on to become Canada famous, he was also from Arn Pryor. When he went on to become Canada famous, he went by the name of Luther Mallory. He pretended he wasn't Derek because, Luther sounds better. And he sang a song called the what did he call it? The Cools. The Cools was his song about us, but we weren't called the Cools. The Cools was us. At that point in time, I believe we were Pole Smoker. We were Pole Smoker, the Albino, Rhino, and the Barnyard Bunch. This, that, and the other thing. Those guys, and we thought Those Guys was great, right? We're going to see Those Guys tonight. Those guys. We were the Rubber Nugget Alliance, and then we ended as the Existence Without Reason. Basically, every time we brought in a new band member, when we changed band members, we changed our name. But City Girl was the song that got him famous. And he just had that whiny emo voice, and we hated it. And yeah, Wilco, yes. Pixies, Where Is My Mind? Kim Mitchell opened up at the Moose and Goose when it changed over from Front 54 to the Moose and Goose. And I was a bouncer. I was stationed on, I don't know why they did this to me. They put me on the roof of the Moose and Goose to look down at the crowd, because the crowd was all in the parking lot. And I'm like, I'm legally blind. They're like, yeah, that's where we want you, though. You're looking down, watching for things. Okay, I'm legally blind. I'm standing up there watching. And Kim Mitchell was basically, Go for a Soda, he was having the crowd sing half the song. And I swear it was because he was too drunk and too doped up to remember the words to the song. But I can't say that for sure, but it just felt that way. And he sang a lot of Max Webster songs that night. And I mean, I never got that with bands, right? You break up, you go solo, and then you bring your old songs with you. Unless you are the sole person that wrote them, you shouldn't have the ability to do that. And he didn't solely write them. Max Webster was an actual band. It wasn't just him. It wasn't just under his name. And then when he went to, as Kim Mitchell, okay, whatever. Another guy that was cool that I met was Sonny from Lighthouse, Sunny Days. So Sonny used to live next door to my ex-wife, and he was a really intriguing guy. And he was at the Niagara Falls Grape and Wine Festival 12 years ago or so. And we went, and you know, he was talking to us after the show. He only sang Sunny Days. The other songs, you know, they had a new like 22-year-old singer singing. I'm like, your whole band is in your 60s, and this guy's 22. I mean, what the hell? You couldn't find a singer that was closer to your age. I understand that you wanted a younger set of vocal cords, but hey. You're already famous. You are like, I'm not the king of beers, and I'm not famous at all, but hey, it is. Did having a band get you guys lots of poontang? No. I didn't have time for a lot of women, to be honest. I was a wrestler. I was a rugby player. I was a football player. I worked out all the time because I was doing strongman and the Highland Games. I had the band. I had a job. My days were basically completely taken. The girls I dated when I was in high school and my beginning of university, I didn't see very often, and they mostly dated me to raise themselves up on the social ladder. So I was used for that stuff. You know, once they were affixed at their new spot in the social pecking order, then they broke up with me. And again, back then, like I have big fucking arms, okay, and back then my arms were like this, and like they were bigger than most people's heads, and I was a scary dude back then. I almost looked like I was roided. I've never taken roids. I never would, but I almost looked like that. Never would, because I don't need any giant nipples or shrinking balls or. All the pole smokers are on Lundy's Lane. They're not only on Lundy's Lane, man. They are a lot of them on Lundy's Lane, but well, I guess Ferry Street is Lundy's Lane. I was going to say there's a bunch of them on Ferry Street in Victoria, but they're all the same street. Because I would walk past them every night on my walk to casino, to my place of business. Stompin' Tom for sure. Yeah, Stompin' Tom was good. I don't beat people. There were some times in my younger days where I would fight, but for the most part, I tried not to hit people because I knew what would happen if I hit them. I knew how I could hurt them, and because of that, I wouldn't. I won't lie. There was some times in my bouncing days where things happened, and it was the spur of the moment. I have a set of scars along my left rib cage from getting stabbed with a broken bottle. And when that happened, I remember just seeing red, and I slammed the guy's face off the marble bar top like 9 times before another bouncer pulled me off of him. I'm not proud of that, but it happened. We also have Mocha Only from Swollen Members. I put him through a table at the Moose and Goose, of all places. Swollen Members, Kyprios, and some local rap band were playing. And at the end of the night, I was the head of security, and Dennis was the cooler. Dennis was a 400-pound native guy, and I was at the time probably 320. Excuse me, and with almost no body fat on me. I had a little bit of beer belly, but that was it. Never in my life, even when I was in the best shape of my life, did I have a six-pack. But who wants a six-pack when you can have a keg, right? Yeah, exactly. So I'm sitting there with Dennis. We were actually drinking with Kyprios because one of the bartenders fucked up, and it was the shooter girl. She fucked up and she poured tequila rose into a Southern Comfort bottle, and there was still Southern Comfort in it. So she's like, "Oh, I fucked up. I did this." And Hector was like, "Well, I can't sell that now." And I'm like, "You can give it to me." I'm off work. It's like, okay, Chad can have it. So I'm sitting at the bar drinking Southern Comfort and Tequila Rose, which is the grossest mixture you can think of, at the bar with Kiprios. And Kiprios was a cool guy. Again, if you want to look him up, he does a spoken word thing about hate, about racism, which is really, really moving. And his big song was "This Is My Hit." He was actually a really cool guy. And we're sitting there drinking at the bar until about 3:30 in the morning. And Dennis comes up and goes, "We can't go home until the Swollen Members guys go." I look over and there's Mocha only hitting on our bartenders. I'm like, "Can you go deal with it, Dennis?" He goes, "No, I'm the boss. You're the second in command. You go deal with it." Put my drink down, go over. I'm like, "Man, it's time to go." He's like, "Do you know who the fuck I am?" Do you know who the fuck I am? I don't fucking care who you are. I'm fucking Mocha only. I can do whatever I want. I go, you can take all my bartenders into your fucking bus and have a fucking orgy. I don't give a shit. Just get the fuck out so I can go home. And after we yelled back and forth at each other for a few minutes, he took a swing at me. Now I was a national caliber wrestler at the time, and I ducked his swing, and I suplexed him through a table, and then Dennis came over and carried him out. And then I talked to the Swollen Members bodyguards, and they're like, "Sorry, man, we'll keep him out there." I'm like, "Yeah, keep him out there. Just keep him the fuck away." And they went off. It was an intriguing night. That was the same night. Yeah, that was that night. There was this guy who was right up at the front of the stage, and he had a water bottle of vodka, and I could tell it was vodka just by the way his face went whenever he'd drink it, because he'd drink it, as he closed it, and I'm watching him. I don't want to go into the pit. The dance floor is lower. I don't know if it still is at the Moose and Goose, but it was lowered. You have to go down steps to get to it. And I'm like, I don't want to have to go in there and deal with that. But that kid's like 19. He's going to be puking everywhere soon. And he took another big swig. And I'm like, okay, I got to go deal with this. And I wade through it. I'm standing right behind him. And I wait till he starts lifting it to go to his mouth again. And right out of his hand, just turn around and walk away. He's looking at me like this. Another good one was we had a KMFDM show. I don't know why they had I'm okay with industrial music and goth music and all that. I bounced at Red Square and managed Red Square for a long time, so I'm perfectly fine with that stuff. But I don't know why the Moose and Goose would have that type of show there. But there was this one guy with this giant ponytail, and he kept crowd surfing. And I went into the crowd 3 times and pulled him down. I'm like, "Time to come down. Don't go up again." And as I'm leaving the dance floor, he'd go up again. I'd turn around and pull him down again. I'm like, "Stop. There's no crowd surfing here. Mosh all you want, no crowd surfing. It's too dangerous. It's against our policy. It's bad for our insurance." Turn around, start leaving again, and he goes up a 4th time. Like, this motherfucker. And I turn around, and I grabbed his fucking ponytail while he was up on the guy's shoulders, and I pulled him down to the ground by his ponytail, lifted him up by his ponytail, and then walked out the door, pulling him by his ponytail. I'm like, "I'm done. Stay the fuck out." You have a question. Are all the people you have who review beers with you your close friends? Some of them are. Mario. There are a lot of people that I'm not close friends with as well. Close friends with the Cantankerous Cook, close friends with the Reverend, close friends with the Cartoon, the Punter. Who else even comes out? I can't even remember anymore. Close friends within the basement. Not so close with Ali Alejandro. Not really close at all with the Honey Monster. Not close at all with the Boo Berry or the Ginger Snatch. I just recently met El Puperifico, Stano, El Stano Puperifico. I just met him recently. He was actually a viewer that we found out worked at my work, and he's worked at my work with me for the entire 10 years I've been there, and just hasn't realized we work in the same building. That's just how many people work there. So wasn't really friends with him. He's coming in now. Was never really friends with the Salvation Army. He was a friend of the Man-Child. Really good friends with the Man-Child. Don't like admitting to that, though, because the Man-Child is a man-child, literally. What do we have here? Center Street Gang. I'm going to grab some beers. I'll be back in 15 minutes, Rhino. Love listening to you talk, bro. Okay, have a good one. You're fucking awesome. No, I'm not really. I think I remember bumping into you a while ago. You remember Eden? Manny Rosenberg. Eden Ewert? Eden. There's a lot of Edens I know. There was one I worked with at Excess Cargo. Oh, eating these nuts. Awesome. That was very, very, very skillful, sir. I'll give you that. You got me. Good work. You did it. I can't even be mad at that. That was actually good. I walked right into it. What other questions do we have? What other things can we talk about? Fury, you still around? You just went quiet. We were talking back and forth. You're scared away. You're like, fuck that. Albino has no pigment. I don't like him anymore. Because I am the lacquer of pigment. You're leaving me for Rod J? A good one. Oh, excuse me. Stiegel Radler next. What other stories can we tell? What other things can we talk about? Any other questions? Any other concerns? What's going on, guys? What's going on? It says there's 11 viewers, but only me, Jason, and Manny are talking. You guys sadden me. You sadden me. Talk with us. Brewing a beer that's good or buying a commercial low alcohol beer that's good, Al? Either or both. Okay. Home brewing a mild is hard to do, Al. A mild doesn't hide any flaws at all. Mild doesn't hide any mistakes in your choice of ingredients. A mild doesn't hide any brewing mistakes at all. Like if you boiled too long, you boiled it for too short of a time, anything like that, you cannot hide it on a mild. That's the only problem. However, I love milds. I wish there was more English milds available in Ontario. We did have that Christmas mix pack from Europe, from England, that came here 2 years ago. That was all milds, and I loved it. I loved it a lot. But yeah, it is what it is. Commercially, I find them very rarely. You do find them, but I find them very rarely. So GLB had one. It was the Cornish Breakfast. It was their English mild, and it was heavenly. Right now, the closest thing you can get to a mild is basically the Radlers, and the Stiegl and the Bud Light are my favorite Radlers, but they're both 2.4% alcohol. But yeah, for anything that's 3.5 and down, you don't have much choice. I mean, you could drink Cracked Canoe, but you might as well be drinking soda water then. You could be drinking Molson 67, but at the same time, you might as well be drinking soda water. I mean, if you want the chance of the alcoholic buzz, they work for you. But yeah, what I really like the English mild because they are full flavored and low alcohol. And so it's what I look for. You just can't find them. I found a few in the States, but even in the States, they're hard to find because the US seems to want the highest ABV stuff they can find. But I am with you on that. I would rather be able to, hang out and drink forever without getting drunk than going, hey, give me these 20% alcohol beers, or give me 3 of these 10% alcohol beers so I can be shit-faced. No, I like being able to remember what I did. I like being able to still participate in everything, and I like being able to completely and utterly control my thoughts still. You know what, Jace? We really should do that. We really should. You are correct. Is one of the charity beers going to be an English mild? That was not even on the thought process, but I think it's going to have to happen. I'm going to figure out maybe Brimstone. Maybe I'll do an English mild with Brimstone. I'll get Zach to do an English mild. I think we need more crafters to use a non-destructive process to remove the alcohol, but leave the malt flavor and hops. If you're looking at non-alcoholic beers, in all honesty, the best I've had are the two from Zares and, the 2 PC ones. The PC Red Brew and the PC Blonde Brew are the best that I can get here in Ontario easily. And they're cheap. They're $5.99 for a 12-pack. I can't deny those. And then there is the $7.99 6-pack from MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Drivers, their designated draft. It's good for what it is. Then there is the beers you can get from premiumnearbeer.com, which is an Ontario-based non-alcoholic shipper of everything. They have non-alcoholic wine, non-alcoholic liquor, and non-alcoholic beer. I've never tried non-alcoholic liquor, and I'm not paying $35 to try a bottle of non-alcoholic liquor. It's just not happening. It will never happen. If they want to send me a bottle of non-alcoholic liquor to review, I'll do it, but I'm not paying 35 fucking bucks for a non-alcoholic bottle of liquor. It's never happening. And I am sorry to Fury if there is people younger in your house, since you said your nephew's on the laptop. I'm sorry that I'm swearing, but it's an Irish thing. It's hard to stop. It's hard to stop. Al should be able to tell you that. Greg would tell you that if he was still here. What else is one of the charity pills will be my vote always. Pilsners, yeah, they're lower ABV usually. Truthfully, they should be in the 4 to 4.75 range, at the most 5, but there are a lot that are higher. And when you get Pilsners made here in Ontario, they're usually way too hopped. But hey, I'm not a Pilsner fan myself. I would rather drink sours or stouts or porters or wheat beers or Doppelbocks or just the Roche beers. Like the list goes on of what I'd drink before a Pilsner. The best Pilsner I've had, though, here in Ontario was the Sociable Pilsner from the Common Good Beer Company. Really good Pilsner. Statistically, stylistically, great. What's on my bucket list? I don't... anything fun on my bucket list? There's not... You know what? I'm fairly easygoing when it comes to stuff like that. There's a lot of things I would try. I don't think there's anything I need to try. I'm deathly afraid of heights, but I would skydive maybe. But again, I'm deathly afraid of heights. If I can't see the ground, I'm fucked, and I'm legally blind. So there's times I can't see the ground. Bungee jumping, I don't think a lot of my friends have done it. I think there would be a rush in it, but at the same time, I don't want to splatter on the ground at 300 pounds because, you know, that would make quite a mess. I would love to go home. I would love to go home. I was born here in Canada. My family's from Ireland. I would love to go and visit my uncle, my great uncle, before he dies, in our home in Ireland. I had a trip planned that the man-child and the cantankerous cook took, and the trip was to go to a lot of places in Europe. Now we're big history buffs, and we love urban exploring, and we love going to abandoned places and ghost towns and stuff like that. So, and again, big history buffs and stuff too. So we had a plan of going to the Bone Chapel, going to the labyrinth under Paris, going to Chernobyl, going to Auschwitz, going to a whole bunch of different places just to, you know, be able to experience those places and be able to say that we have seen some things that were huge in history of our families and of ourselves. And then my ex-wife got pregnant with our first kid, so I didn't go, but I had already planned everything out. So they went, and they showed me the pictures and everything. I'm like, I fucking hate you guys so fucking much right now. Ugh. But yeah, so I would love to do that trip anyway, to go to Kiev, then to go to Chernobyl, go to Austria, go to go to Romania, hit up Paris. Just a lot of the things that most people don't go to is the type of stuff I like going to. Like when I travel into the States, it's, you know, let's go to a penitentiary, let's go to a ghost town, let's go to this, let's go to. People are like, you're weird, and like it's that feeling of history that's interesting to me. Ohio State Penitentiary, really intriguing place where you can pay to get locked in there at night. They say it's haunted, and you can pay and you get locked in overnight. They put you in from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. and you have free range of the prison. That was one of the coolest things I've ever done. There's other places that do that too that I would love to go to. There's an insane asylum that does the same thing in the U.S. I like them all as well. Pills is a great base and a white whale. Darren Score just found an Amsterdam Natural Blonde in the upstairs fridge. Nice. I only have one fridge plugged in right now. I since my ex left, I've been emptying out all the different fridges in the house and leaving them unplugged. Jace, I love radlers. I would love a cranberry radler or other exotic fruits. Find the acidity of the grapefruit can be too much around the holidays. Jace, there is a raspberry radler by Sawdust City. I have two of them downstairs, one to review and one to drink, and I always forget there's two of them down there, or else I would have drank it already. The best radler I've ever had was an Imperial Radler at 4.5% alcohol, and that was an Imperial Radler by Plan B Beer Works in St. Catharines, Ontario, on St. Paul Street, right near where my old bar that I managed used to be. They did the key lime radler, and oh my god, it tasted just like key lime pie. It was awesome. Chernobyl drone footage is fucking creepy. I agree with you. Skydiving is fun. I love it myself. I'm a giant history buff as well, and I'm planning some of those trips. Iceland is on there as well. I'm also a huge Urbex junkie. Iceland is a place. Vlad the Impaler's castle in Romania would be amazing. See, that was one of the places we had on the list of places to go in Romania. But yeah, Iceland is a place I would love to go. There's that airline that goes to Iceland pretty cheap, so I might look into that once I get my passport again. But what do I know about the pot brewery starting in? I don't even know what you're talking about, to be honest with you, Darren. You're gonna have to be the host here. Explain to me what the pot brewery is. I'm on my computer too, so I can actually quickly look up some stuff too. But no, I know nothing about a pot brewery in Toronto. Nothing that's come across my desk has been about a pot brewery. Marijuana beer company set up in Toronto. Brews up big booze. That was quick. April 12th. How the fuck has it been April and I don't know anything about this? Sorry, guys, you got to look at my head for a second. You know what? I'm going to turn off the camera and then you can just hear me and not see my head because nobody wants to see that. Not even I want to see that. There's a reason why I'm single. It's because nobody wants to see this head. Duna Wensba plans to shake up the 1 billion booze industry with the province brand's cannabis-powered drinks. Now, I know Buzz Beer is in Toronto from the Cool Beer Company, and it doesn't taste anything like a hemp beer. It is a hemp beer, but I mean, we made fun of it for about 10 minutes on camera about how, you know, it's pandering to a generation and pandering to people, and that's all it was, because hemp has this nutty character, and that wasn't in the beer. So you just put enough hemp in it to be able to call it a hemp beer, and put a pot leaf on it, and we're like, look at what we got. Drink the pot beer. And that just pissed me off. It was just pandering, and people got angry at us that we made fun of the beer. But so why do we have this? On the first day recreational cannabis was made legally available in Colorado on New Year's Day 2014, it was tough to get anywhere near a dispensary, let alone inside one. This guy remembers. Lines went around the corner, says a CEO of Province Brands, an early-stage Toronto-based company with plans to disrupt the $1.2 trillion alcohol industry with cannabis-powered drinks. Those fortunate enough to get inside saw shelves packed with products, but there was so much demand that those shelves were empty by the next day. The cannabis industry exploded that year, growing from $100 million to $10 billion business. Few saw it coming, which is why, given Canada's impending legalization of marijuana, the federal government is expected to table legislation on Thursday, April 13th. Why the fuck am I better at reading this when we're not doing BDU than when we do BDU? But that's not the only reason. Banks were also friendlier to cannabis companies, so he will be able to set up accounts and get listed on the Toronto Stock Exchange. Two things he couldn't do in the US. States like California and Colorado have legalized recreational pot, but it's still illegal federally, making for a very challenging and cash-oriented environment for new businesses. Secondly, it's legal to export cannabis products from Canada. You can't do that in the US. Another big challenge for ambitious entrepreneurs. Okay, so if you drink too much, you will get cancer. It's not a question of it, but when. It also causes liver disease. We know that. It causes dementia because alcohol builds up amyloid plaques in your brain. Depression because it reduces your brain's ability to produce serotonin. It's a good thing I have so much serotonin producing stuff going on. I mean, it's just not good for you, right? Okay, so this is a huge story. I'm not reading it all, but yeah, okay. So it doesn't really say if he's going to get all of his things or not. He's just trying to do this. And it doesn't say if he's going to be brewing beer or what he's really doing. Okay, 2 alcoholic beers that utilize the hemp-driven. Okay, so hemp-driven process involved in weed beers in Quebec and Ontario. That way, he says he can establish his IP. The company filed more than 20 patents before he left to start Province. Okay, see, this is just sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun things over the next little while. So if he has 20 patents going, he's going to have a lot of time where we're talking about him on BDU, because he's going to have a lot of lawsuits going on with other people. Yeah, and they'll also be doing, Jace, they'll also be doing a mail order just like the LCBO does right now too, which I think is going to be their biggest seller is going to be mail order right from their warehouse. The question is whether or not they're going to be able to keep up with demand, because there are a lot of people that are going to jump on that when it becomes legal. I mean, the price, I don't know what weed goes for on the streets. Is $10 a gram comparable to what it is on the streets? Like, is it cheap enough that it might actually curb some of the black market like they're hoping, or is the price difference still so vast that it doesn't matter? $10 to $12 a gram on the street. Okay, so they're selling it for the same. Okay, so maybe they will. Maybe they will be able to curb the black market like they want. Um, I don't know if you can really say it's going to be poor quality when like places like Tweed are going to be the ones doing it. The Tweed pot farms have like 100 strains of pot. Fury, you are correct. The government is crooked, but I mean, anyone. See, this is the thing, right? I have a lot of friends that were getting into dispensaries and stuff when this was first announced, and I sat back and I'm like, if you guys think they're going to let the public be in charge of all this, you guys are crazy. No, they're going to let the public. It's going to be just like Colorado. We're going to have this. We're going to have that. We're going to have this. We're going to have that. No, you're not. I mean, if they have a chokehold on alcohol and they have a chokehold on tobacco, they're not going to let this happen. Oh, yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. There's going to be no dispensaries. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the... I told you this years ago. This wasn't going to happen. It wasn't. And Jace, I can't believe people thought they would follow the Colorado model. Look at Ontario. Look at Ontario's LCBO. The fucking the the territories followed the LCBO's model for alcohol. Are we cutting out? Are we lagging? Or is it just Fury? Is Fury the only problem? Oh, excuse me. What are you even doing on your computer, Fury? I thought you're not allowed on your computer. Somebody else took it over. Let's do this right here. Alrighty, I gotta go take the. I gotta go let the puppers out. So we're gonna go for a walk. Oh, yeah, we're gonna go for a walk. Yeah, the phone is down. The phone is down. Down, guys. What are we gonna do? Let's go pee pee. I can't see anything you guys are writing right now, so yeah, it's just gonna wait. It's just gonna wait, and yeah, let's go, guys. Come on. Ooh, it really is lagging. Let's go pee pee. Let's go. Go on. So yeah, what do we have going on? My dogs are taking their urine break. The store across the street is still open, which is weird to me. And yeah, here we are. I'm using my nose. Come on, Helga. Let's go. Yeah, lazy shepherd. Okay, let's go do this shit, shall we? Let's go do this shit. Oh no, here I am. Welcome back. What's going on here? Boris the Butcher and Helga the Bullet Dodger. Let's skip the dishes. Jace, let's skip the dishes. Have a good night, Al. What is this skip the dishes app? Explain it to me. Explain it to me. Oh, and Fury, earlier when you asked me what I'm looking for in a woman, also, they have to like dogs, at least a little bit, at least enough to accept them, because they ain't going anywhere for 10 to 12 years. So, yeah, there is that. Like I said, there was a girl who did not like dogs at all, who started dating me. And at one point, she's like, "Oh, your dogs are both going to be 100 pounds each, and they like sleeping with you. Where am I going to sleep if they're sleeping with you?" And I'm like, this is the same girl that told me I had to get rid of my dogs and wanted me to lock them up every time she came over. And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't care because you're not going to be there." She's like, "What do you mean?" I go, "We're breaking up because I am not giving them up for you. They're what got me through a lot of the hard times I went through." What do we have here? Skip the Dishes is an app that lets you order food in your area. You type in your address. It saves you credit card. No talking. No. So much like Beyond Menu or Just Eat. I use Just Eat a lot. I I hate ordering. Like I haven't had fast food. I've had fast. That's a lie. I've had fast food once since my ex-wife left me. Um, and I've ordered out once a week since she left. I usually order out on my Wednesday, so I order out on my Saturday, and I usually have that on my Saturday and my Sunday, and then I go back to work and cook again. But yeah, like so I order out that once a week, and the place I like ordering from the most, I have to call, so I don't order from it as often as I'd like, because half the time, I just don't want to talk to anybody. It's just I know exactly what I want. They know exactly what I want as soon as they hear my voice, but I still don't want to even just call them. I just want to be able to go bang, 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 and I'm done. I'll have to check it out. I'll have to check it out, Jason, see if it has more restaurants than Just Eat for me. Uh, Belligerent hula baloo. That's a big deal breaker. I love my animals. Yeah, so do I, and that's the thing, right? Actually, when these animals are new to me, in that I got them both as puppies. They're still puppies. They're 6 and almost 6 months old. And when my ex left, she took the cats and the dogs with her. Um, and yeah, so I was basically left alone. Like those dogs, I'd had them for 8 years and 11 years. They were my dogs. They followed me everywhere. I was the only one they listened to, and now they're gone. And I was left completely alone here, and I needed something, and I have these guys now. Finish this beer. 16-year-old Chow Lab. Wow, you got lucky there, sir. I have well, sir or madam. I don't know. I'm going with sir. I have not had a large dog last that long yet. An Alaskan Malamute or a Husky. Yeah, you get your Malamute before they say they're not allowed to be around anymore after that kid in Saskatchewan. Walter, Mr. Perfect. Perfect. We had a cat. I'm not much of a cat person myself. The only thing I like about cats is they're so independent. You don't really have to do anything other than feed them and clean their litter box. Only thing I really liked about them. Yeah, we talked about this before, Mr. Angus Wangus. We did. Yeah, they are great dogs. What I've always wanted was an Irish Wolfhound. Not ever going to happen, but I've always wanted one. Or an Irish Setter. Again, not going to happen. Purebred Irish Setter would cost way too much money. Even if I paid for both of these dogs, they would have still been cheaper than one of either of those. And there's a lot of health problems with both of them. I also... Why do I even have these on? I'm using this head. What the hell? There's no one here with me. Why did I put those on? It was just natural expectations of what I needed to talk to you guys. I'm using the webcam microphone because nobody else is in the room. So why use the headphones? The Chow Lab was healthy physically, but had a brain issue leading to seizures. That's horrible. I'm sorry to hear that, especially because the dog made it that long. I'm not a huge fan of Chows, but at the same time, I am. We actually, in one of my meetings a few days ago, we were talking about dogs, and we were talking about the Alaskan Malamutes that tore that kid apart in Saskatchewan. And we were talking about pit bulls and a bunch of other things. And I'm like, I find it funny that all these dogs are rated as horrible. I mean, yeah, dogs have their own personality, and some dogs can be meaner than other dogs from birth, just like some humans are meaner than other humans from birth. But just like humans, a lot of it is nature versus nurture. I mean, if the dog is raised to be an attack dog or the dog is beat or this and that, it's going to be more aggressive. And I've had pit bulls that are amazing dogs. I've been around pit bulls that were amazing dogs. Simon's dog Duke was an amazing fucking dog, and so sweet too. And then you go out and you see little dogs that are snappers and this and that. And boxers can get a bad name, but boxers are some of the most affectionate dogs you're going to find. But what we were talking about was all that. And I'm like, the one dog that I know that I've been around a lot that I'm actually scared of, and I'm not scared of a lot of dogs, but the one dog that worries me is a Akita. And they're like, what do you mean? I go, an Akita's meant for one owner and one owner only. And it basically hates every other human and every other animal it meets. And even if it is fully loved, it's still an asshole to everybody else. And they scare me. They really do. And people are perfectly fine with Akitas, but not perfectly fine with other dogs. Well, there is that, right, Jace? I mean, that's... I do hate that about dogs. I mean, the Dane was 8, the Scottish Terrier was 11, and the Mutt was 12. So, I mean, they don't have much more time. The cat's 15 that she took. I'm not a cat person at all, but after 15 years, that cat did grow on me. It did. I can't deny it. I kind of miss the cat. I hated the cat and I missed the cat at the same time. Fury's had Newfoundlanders his whole life. They're a great friendly breed. I agree. I love Newfoundlanders as well. I love big dogs. I've always loved big dogs. That's my thing. I actually have, because I ended up buying, I have a large crate. I only crate train the dogs until they're about 1.5 years old, until they can hold their bladder the whole time I'm at work, and then they have range of the house. But right now I have a large crate, and I bought a medium crate, right? So you figure one size smaller. The fucking thing is like 1/3 the size of the large crate. So Helga's already outgrown it. Boris has outgrown it. Neither of them can fit in the medium crate. So I have a large crate up against the wall. I have a medium crate, and then I have another large crate that I bought. I bought the Amazon Basics crates, because the large Amazon Basic crate is $59.99, where a large crate at a pet store is $129. Why would I pay an extra $70? Why would I do that? I wouldn't. So I buy the $59 one. It's the exact same thing. It works the exact same way. It fucking works perfectly fine, and I saved myself $70. So I was able to buy the second one with the savings from the first one. Bang, yeah. But so I have this medium crate that's sitting here with nothing in it, and I'm like, I should get another dog. And my friends are like, you're crazy. And I'm like, I know I'm crazy, but I have this empty crate. I kind of want to put a dog in it. Kind of want to do it. Like, you're a fucking idiot. Like, you're right. I am. I'm not actually going to get the dog, but I kind of want to. So true, most of it comes down to the owner. There's a ton of misinformation and unwarranted demonization for tons of breeds. I agree. 8 is a good lifespan for a Dane. Mr. Angus Wangus, I do agree too. My dog's ashes are right next to me right now on a small table. His shrine. Nice, sir, nice. Okay. What's next? Next, we have some Lego Tread. For those of you that watch your reviews from Manitoba, this is Lego Tread. Let's move my phone before I accidentally spill things on it again. Move my cash. What do we have here from Belligerent Hula Baloo? My dog only urinated in my house once as a puppy and potty trained herself after that. My boxer urinated in the house for about 3 months. At first, he would not piss outside. We could be outside for 4 hours straight, and the second we came in, he would piss. As soon as I got Helga, who already would pee outside, he started peeing outside. So it's the only good thing about getting her. No, I'm not getting drunk tonight, sir. I'm completely sober still. None of the beers I've had tonight have been over 4%. None of them. Until this one. I can't get drunk. I'm not allowed to be drunk anymore. At least not for another month or two. I can get a buzz, can't get drunk. I want some apple fritter from the steak chicken. Fuck you. Fuck you. I'm going to block. Well, block 3 is great. If Kevin's there, say hello, but I doubt he's going to be there because it's a weekend. Kevin doesn't have to work weekends. But if he's there, say hi to him for me. What do we have here from Jace? They got homemade pepperettes that just stop. Just stop. Okay, those are my weakness. Pepperettes are my, especially hot pepperettes. If it's a hot pepperette, I have to have it. I have to put it in my face right now. Just have actually, when Simon came over today, when the punter came over today, he brought me a pound of hot pepperettes from his work, and they're already gone. I'm like, Simon, I've been working out hard. I'm taking care of myself. I'm not eating shit. Why did you bring me these? He goes, because I know you're going to eat them in 5 minutes. And I'm like, you're fucking right, I am. And yeah, I ate them in about 5 minutes. Same as jerky, pepperettes and jerky. Those are my two snack weaknesses. I don't need cake. I don't need cookies. I don't need chips. If you give me meat, you've won me. You know, I always say I'm shy. I'm very shy, but I'm very food oriented. A few treats and I'm your best friend. And Simon brings me treats. I'm his best friend. Yeah, I make my own jerky. I usually buy fresh flank steak and I make my jerky out of that. But I have a bunch of minute steak in the freezer, and I might make jerky out of that. I'm gonna have to thaw it out first, though. I've never had cryotherapy, so tell me how that is. But loneliness is really good, and Blocktoberfest is fine. Fury eats a lot of snacks. Mr. Angus Wangus says jerky yum. Belligerent Hullabaloo says jerky is a definite kryptonite. Cookie chips, how do you do that? How do you do what? Not eat the stuff? Easy, I just don't buy it. If I buy it, there's a problem. I haven't had pop in the entire time my ex-wife has been gone either. Again, one of the reasons why I've lost weight is because I don't eat that shit anymore. It's not always around me. And it used to always be around me. But if I, like in my younger days, if I bought a 2-4 of Coke or something, I would drink that 2-4 in a day or two. Because if it was there, I just kept popping it and drinking it. So just cutting it out, don't have to worry about it anymore. Mr. Angus Wangus just ate a whole pack of Pillsbury crescent rolls with butter. Yeah, that's good. That's good. You know what? I would make... I was making, for a while, I was making poor man's garlic bread with cheese. So what I was doing was, stop fighting. Here, Helga. Here, take that. Yeah, there you go. He can't take that from you now. Go hide in the crate. He won't go in there. I have to push my dog in the crate. What Helga does is she actually collects bones in her crate because she knows Boris won't go in his crate. Won't go in the crate to take them. But so yeah, like I was making poor man garlic bread. So what I was doing was I was taking just slices of bread, throwing them on a cookie sheet, taking some garlic powder because you know it's poor man's garlic bread, throwing the garlic powder on the bread, then buttering it, then throwing it in the oven with cheese on top of it. Oh, it was fucking heavenly. That was my screwing around things. Have you tried Zodiac or Tartan Pants? Are you talking about Zodiac from Omnipolo? Because I gave you a bone. Don't try and take the one he has now. Because if you're talking about that Zodiac, no, I haven't tried it, but it's down in the basement. I don't know what Tartan Pants is. Do you have a favorite scotch? Yes, Belligerent Hullabaloo. I do. My favorite scotch is Lagavulin 16. I only buy it when I cross over into the US when it's $50 at the duty free because I will not pay $116 for it here. Other than that, Talisker like 10 is really good. Leave your brother alone. He doesn't want you to steal his bone. I just gave you a bone. I just gave you a bone. Go eat your bone. Take it, quick, take it. Cryotherapy. Okay, what do we have? Let's get up here. Cryotherapy is a double dry hop pale ale with mosaic and lupulin powder. Fuck off. That would be amazing. Lupulin powder will just blow your face off. Do you like cheesecake, Rhino? Well, I didn't become this amazing without eating something like cheesecake. Okay? Put a cheesecake in front of me, it'll disappear too. Again, I've been really good. But yeah. Like, I even think my face has gotten smaller since the ex left. But again, I'm working out hard and I'm not eating shit anymore. So my only real vices are cheesecake. I got to admit it now. Cheesecake, meats, and beer. Nothing else is bad that goes in my body anymore. Jace used to be the same with soda. Now he can barely tolerate it. Yeah, you know, every once in a while, the problem is work has pop everywhere. When I left, when I was written off work back in May, when they decided they didn't want me around for a while and to get my shit straight, when they wrote me off, they had one of those Coke mix machines where you could have like 180 different types of Coke variants. And I always made fun of it. I'm like, we're supposed to be this healthy eating place because they're all about healthy eating, and you give us 180 choices of pop. Great work, guys. And I came back, and they got rid of that. And they're back to the old system that only has like 8 choices, which is fine because I only drink water, and if I really have a craving for Coke or pop or something, I drink soda water. So because it tricks your mind into thinking that you're actually drinking pop because you just have that carbonation hit you. But when I was addicted to caffeine, and getting off of pop was death defying. It killed me. Like I felt like I was dying for days after I'd get off pop. And it's the same thing now. If I'm stupid and the reason I don't drink pop is because I did it once or twice where I was like, you know what? I haven't had a pop in a month. Let's have one. And I'd drink a glass of pop and put it down. And for the next 3 days, I was having caffeine withdrawals. So I haven't touched it. And it's been good. What else do we have here? What's your favorite whiskey? Well, again, my favorite Scotch is Lagavulin. If we're just going with American whiskeys, if we're going with bourbons and stuff like that, if we're going with bourbons, I would say Woodford Reserve. And if we're going with Canadian ryes, though I like the craft ryes a lot, like Dillon's and stuff, way too expensive for what you're getting, and it's way too expensive just because they don't have the size that something like H.R.M. Walker has and all that. So I would say probably the hopped Wisers. I really liked the hopped Wisers because they used the English hops in it and just added that nice very, very nice just earthiness to the back end of the Wisers. What do we have here? Oh, wait. I got to come back up here. Got to come back up. Big Rig. Big Rig has a beer called Tartan Pants. Did he mean that? Yes, Zodiac Omnipolo. Okay, so yeah, I have not had Zodiac Omnipolo, but it is downstairs in a can. Belligerent Hula Blue. Delicious indeed. Hoppy grapefruit lemon lime. Very good. I love your dogs, brother, from Member Dude. So do I, sir. So do I. They're actually laying beside each other, chewing the same bone right now. Where did I put my cell phone? Tartan Pants really taste like tobacco. I'm not 100% sure I'd like that, to be honest. I might, but I don't know. Okay, better now. Never saw my dogs chew the same bone. Strong tobacco taste, unlike anything I've tried before. Yummy, lol from Jace. Do you like fudge? Huge fudge place downtown Niagara Falls was amazing. There's a guy at my work, and his grandfather owns I can't remember the family name, but they own a fudge store in Niagara on the Lake. And I used to give him money every week, and he'd bring me different varieties of fudge because his part-time job was a fudge maker. And yeah, stop bringing up the stuff I'm not allowed to eat anymore. Well, I'm allowed to eat it. I just try not to. But yeah, there's some great fudge. Pralines and cream fudge is amazing. You don't necessarily need chocolate fudge. There's a lot of fudge that's just great without it. Remember, dude, damn, I wonder what would happen if I were to quit coffee. I drink 2 cups a day for the past 10 years. Jace quit coffee and switched to tea, and his blood pressure went down. That's great, sir. Fury was not great, like a cigarette butt. When you try, if you do. So like a cigarette. See, that reminds me. Now, the problem with working in the bar industry since the 90s is that, well, the late 90s, is that and the early 2000s, is that it wasn't all that politically correct back then. So when you talk about something tasting like a cigarette butt, and to anyone that has a Hispanic background, I do apologize, but what it was called back then was called a dirty Mexican asshole. And back then, when you could smoke in bars, what they did was, a dirty Mexican asshole was, they took a dirty ashtray and they took the cigarette butts out and left the ashes, and they'd pour a shot of tequila in it, and the person would chug it out of the ashtray. And it was a very, very horrible name, and it was a very, very horrible shot. And I used to give it to some people that would come into Red Square and ask for free booze because they knew me. Oh, I want some free booze. I go, okay, you have choice one or choice two. Choice one was that, and choice two was a cement mixer. And what a cement mixer was a shot of Bailey's and a shot of bar lime in two separate shot glasses. And you'd take the Bailey's and hold it in your mouth, and take the bar lime and swish it around, and it would curdle immediately in your mouth, and you'd have to chew it down. And basically, that was basically for the people that were begging for free booze because they knew me. This is my livelihood. You're coming into the bar I manage, the bar I bounce at, the bar I bartend at, whatever, and you're trying to get me to give you something for free because you don't want to pay for it. If I offered it to you, that's one thing, but you're coming in begging me for it up at the bar? No, these are your choices. Remember, dude, do you ever wait a few hours before you drink beer? I feel like drinking just after eating is a waste of beer. See, I don't normally do that. I like to drink my beer with my food, but then I like to pair beer with food. I even cook with beer a lot. So it is one of those things. I do a lot of stuff like that. Since we're on the snack talk, I thought, what the heck? Yeah, it works. Yeah, remember, dude, a literal one would have been better. See, drinking on an empty stomach will get you drunk faster, but I mean, I haven't drank for a drunk in a long time. I think I was in my 20s the last time I really drank to get drunk. It's not saying that was the last time I was drunk, but it was the last time I drank to get drunk. A lot of times I would get drunk not realizing how much I drank. I know when we went to my ex's best friend's wedding, she was trying to show off how rich she was because her dad was a tobacco farmer, and her new husband's dad was a tobacco farmer. So they had a lot of money, and they had 450 people at the wedding, and they had an open bar. And when they were at our wedding, they were bad mouthing the fact that our bar wasn't open. It was $2 drinks, okay, $2 drinks. What the hell can you? It was a toonie bar. Stop bitching and pay your toonie to the bar. But we didn't have an open bar, and I didn't have an open bar because my family's Irish. I would have went broke because you pay for every fucking drink they buy. It's not happening. I'm not paying for every drink they buy. I know what they're going to do. But so at this wedding, after she badmouthed us for having a toonie bar, I looked at my ex and I said, you know what? It's going to be a bad night. She goes, what do you mean? I go, I'm going to make sure that we get our money's worth. She's like, don't do it. No. She badmouthed us. It's happening. And so that night, I ended up having from 6 p.m. to 2 a.m., I ended up having about 24 beers, 10 shots of gin, and 10 shots of whiskey. I don't know if I drank all of the shots throughout the night or if I just put the glasses down and left them there because, it was an open bar. So I'm done with this. It's warm. I don't know if that's how it happened or what happened. I just know how much I ended up getting because I had a stack of the empty glasses too. And we took a picture with me with the stack of empty glasses because I chased away the servers. The servers would come to try and take the glasses. I'm like, get the fuck away. Please stay here. And I remember we were driving home in a cab. I had the cab pull over 3 times so I could puke out the door. And then I woke up naked in her mom's bathtub. So, yeah, that was one of the last times I was really, really drunk. But I did that one on purpose. I knew It was that last shot of gin. Because I have this thing. Once my nose starts going numb, I stop drinking. If my nose starts going numb and I keep drinking, I'm going to be sick. But the second I feel a little numbness in my nose, I just have to stop, and I won't even wake up with a hangover. But if I keep drinking, I'm fucked. And I kept drinking because I'm an idiot. A lot of people only go to weddings for the food and booze. It's true. We had good food. The booze was $2. That's not bad, especially back then. Fury, do I miss her ever? No, not really. I've been much happier, to be honest with you, since she left. I miss my kids a whole lot. I miss my dogs. I miss the cat, even though I don't want to admit it. But yeah, other than that, no. The relationship was long gone. It took me a little bit to realize, but yeah, the relationship was over for probably about a year, maybe even more, maybe even a year and a half, 2 years. We did the stay together for the kids thing, and I shouldn't have done that. It just made me more and more angry with myself every day. And it took longer for me to get back to where I needed to be, get back to being happy and be myself again. Not something I really wish I had done, but it is what it is. Emmer Dude, what's your opinion on liquor? I find beer is much better to pace myself on, and liquor just makes me feel retarded, so I stick to beer. And when it comes to liquor, I drink two things and two things only, really. I drink gin and I drink whiskey. I don't touch vodka. When I was 18, I was bet $100 I couldn't drink 326ers of Smirnoff. And I'm an idiotic Irishman. And back then I was an idiotic Irish teenager. So I drank the 3 bottles of Smirnoff in the night, made my $100, gave myself alcohol poisoning, and was sick for 3 days. Even the smell of alcohol makes me ill. So when I work as a bartender and I'm pouring in Smirnoff for any type of vodka, I feel extremely ill just pouring it. Rum, I've never really liked the taste of. Tequila, I've never liked the taste of. When it comes to liqueurs, the only liqueur I really drink is 2, absinthe and Jägermeister, and everything else I don't really care for. Shared custody? No, I won't get shared custody. She fled to London, Ontario, so she is a good 2 hours away from me, and I'm legally blind. I'm not driving to see them, so I will see them a few times a year, and that's it. But it is what it is. I just know that I had to be a better person for my kids, and I had to be what they needed me to be. So I had to do a lot of changes in my life. Things will be good. Glad you're keeping your head up. Yeah, I have no choice but to keep my head up. Again, I have to be a better person for my kids. I thought I was a good person before. Maybe I was, maybe I wasn't. I don't know. But yeah, it's to the point where I have to do what I have to do for them, and they are what matters right now. I have gone into the dating world a little bit since she left. I dated about 6 girls so far. None of them did anything for me. 2 of them were completely and utterly insane. Then there was the one that wanted to get me to get rid of my dogs, and then it's weird. And that I'm not the type of guy that really attracts women. So the fact that I've even found 6 women that wanted to date me was amazing to me. I'm an overweight albino with visual impairment problems and with a lot of baggage that follows me now that I have an ex with 3 kids. But yeah, I got alcohol poisoning drinking 40s when I was a teenager. I was sick for at least, yeah, see, and Jace, that's the thing that sucks, right? You're sick for days. Absinthe is fucking awesome. Some absinthe is fucking awesome. I had Pernod. What I had here in the house with Pernod, Taboo, and Hills. Hills was garbage. Hills was just like corn and wood liqueur at 70% alcohol and was colored green. Pernod was basically proper and was 60%, and Taboo I think was 65, 50, something like that. I can't remember, but I enjoyed them. Oh, remember, dude, I already know that. I've had two judges on my case so far. One judge was on my side, and the second judge was a 78-year-old woman who basically threw out everything the first judge said. So, yeah. Okay, guys, any more questions? Should I go on to another story? What story should I tell next? We talked about mocha only. Um, oh, Fury, it is what it is. I can't be mad. I try not to get mad about anything anymore, Fury. It's not worth it. Oh, what is that? Alp Imagine? I just finished rewatching your Blue Dry 10.1 and Molson Dry 10.1 videos. Your videos are great, man. And remember, dude is right about courts favoring women. I actually, my buddy Nail, he delivers to Montreal all the time. He brought me back actually Molson Dry 10.1 and a Labatt Blue Dry 10.1 recently too. He's like, "Have you reviewed these?" I'm like, "Yeah, but I can figure something to do with them." So I'm actually thinking about using them in the Edward 40 hands because it's a 40 of each. So yeah, that might happen. Belligerent hula baloo. Haven't seen my brother or sister in 6 years. I love my family to death, so it's been a fucking trip without them. I understand that completely, sir. Um, I understand that completely. I have not seen my brothers in years myself. We all had an intriguing childhood. My mother had a few mental illnesses. She still denies them, but she she is yeah, she had them. And by the time I got out of that house, she had already been married several times. I think right now, what's she at right now? We got Harold, Norm, Denis, Fritz, Wayne, Byron, Patrick. Oh, what's the one before? JC. Okay, so yeah, she's been married 8 times. So she was married 6 times before I got out of that house. And each time she was cheating on the guy before with the next one. So I had a lot of trust issues for a long time. But I got out. I moved as far away from home as I could. My one brother became a cokehead, and my other brother completely shut down. So I haven't seen my brothers in forever. I've been home visiting my aunt and my father and my grandmothers and stuff several times. Neither of my brothers have met their nieces or nephews. Um, and you know what? At the same time, I don't really mind. My mother was here. I tried to give my mother another shot. I tried to forgive, and I brought her into the house. She was here when my son was born, my first son. And while she was here, when we were at the hospital, she stole $600 out of the house. So I hadn't talked to her in 7 years. I've talked to her again now since my ex has left, only to only because I did my shit to make myself a better person. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should give her one more chance. And I talked to her about a few things, and the things I talked to her about, I only talked to her about, and the rest of the family knew it all. So she's been cut out since then. My brother, my one brother, again, still a cokehead. He lives in Ottawa. He started bouncing at some of the places I used to bounce at using my name to get in there, and they all fired him and called me, and they're like, is this guy your brother? Because he doesn't work like you at all, and he was high all the time. And I'm like, yeah, that's my brother. Um, then I had my other brother. Like I said, he completely shut down. He doesn't leave his room other than to go to the washroom and goes back into his room. I feel bad for him. He's asked to move in with me, and I wish you know what, I want to let him, but I know exactly what he's like right now. So I don't want to let him because I don't want to deal with that. The guy doesn't bathe, he doesn't work, he doesn't do anything, and I don't need to take care of a 32-year-old child. Is basically what it comes down to. Um, and I mean, I love my family, but separating myself from parts of my family as much as I love them was the best thing I could do, and the only way I could really continue being happy because there was a lot of stress from them. Sometimes family is nothing more than people that you share genetic code with, and it's unfortunate to say that, but it is the truth. I mean, I have some friends that are as close to family to me, well, as close to blood with me as my actual blood, or closer than my actual blood. My buddy Jeff, who was the best man at my wedding, he is like a brother to me, and his mom helped raise me. His mom is like a mom to me too. Um, she actually is the one that talked to me the most since everything started happening. And she would call me and she'd be like, "What's going on right now?" And I'd tell her and all that. And she's like, "You know what? You ended up helping a lot of kids with visual acuity problems." She goes, "Maybe you'll be able to help other people with this stuff." She goes, "You're very smart. You're very articulate. I don't know if I really am. I don't think I am, but hey, she thinks so. So awesome. Thanks, Tracy." But she went on with a lot of things, and she was always there for me, and she used to talk to me about the things that, like, she talked to me about the things that happened in my childhood. She's like, I'd see you either walking or biking to work from Brayside to Arnprior, and I'd be like, "This kid's legally blind. Why is he biking on the side of the road?" I'm like, "I had to do something to make money. I had to pay my mother, or else wouldn't have had a house." I was doing all my sports. I was doing all my band stuff. I was doing my schooling, and I was paying most of the mortgage. So it was what it was. What do we got here? I really like your gauges. They're called that, right? Yes, sir, they are. I have like 500 different gauges to put in. These are just, I've had them in for too long. I got to change them. Did I ever hurt anybody badly wrestling or bouncing? Please give gory details. Yes, I did. One of my wrestling matches that I hurt somebody on is actually on YouTube, and he was an asshole. It was one of the Canadian championships at Woodruff High School in Ottawa, and he was an asshole. That's the best way to put it. He was trying to hurt people, and two of the guys I wrestled before him, I knew they were both good guys. They weren't very good wrestlers, both very good guys, and he tried to hurt them, and he did hurt one of them, and he tried to run over the other. And then when it got to wrestling me, he tried to run me over as well. And it was one of those things where I was much stronger than him, and I was much better at wrestling than him. So he tried, but didn't succeed. And in the match, you can actually watch. At one point, I have him in a Russian armbar, and you see him tapping, right? Like, here's the mat, here's his hand. So he taps once, and his hand's about to come down in the second time to tap, because as soon as his hand touches the mat the second time, they end the match. And his hand's about to touch, and then I tilt him so he can't tap out. Like, fuck you, buddy. Fuck you. Bouncing, there was the guy who stabbed me with the broken beer bottle, whose head went off the bar top at the Moose and Goose several times. There was the guy that broke the nose of the lady. There was a Niagara College night going on, and this was one of the Thorold regulars. And the Niagara College night was going on, and he asked out a 19-year-old girl who denied him, and I was standing close by, so I could hear it all. She wasn't rude at all. She was like, "No, you're old enough to be my dad. I'm not going to go anywhere with you." And he just punched her, right? Like, full on back, bang, right into the nose. And me and Dennis were there immediately. Me on one arm, Dennis on the other. Dennis was the cooler again. I was the head of security, and we were carrying him out, like, up off the ground. And as we got to the front doors, we just slammed his head into the fucking center pillar and then tossed him out on the sidewalk. What else? Oh, we had the guy that tried to steal our money right at the door. This was, again, most of my stories about hurting people and bouncing were either at the strip club or at the Moose and Goose in Thorold. And this guy tried to steal the money, the door money. So the till was sitting there, and he ran in and he grabbed the cash box and went running out. So head of security chasing after him. Gets in his car. He's trying to close his door. Again, I was 320 pounds at the time. I was doing strongman. I get one arm on the door, and I'm heaving it like this, right, to keep it open. Get my other hand right on his throat. I'm choking the kid out as he's trying to back up his car. And because he's trying to back up his car and it's going to run me over, I'm just heaving on the door to keep myself from dying. In the end, he, passes out, and the cops show up. And I'm like, I want to charge him with assault. He tried to run me over with his car. And the cops knew me in Thorold, and they're like, well, Chad, we have on good authority that you choked him out, and he wants to charge you with assault. So why don't we pretend neither of you hurt each other and just go on like that? I'm like, good with me. And yeah. The strip club ones, I'm not going to get into. There was some bad stuff there too. Yeah. Perfect plex off a steel cage. Dude, you can and should always love your family, but you don't have to like them. My brother is dear to me, but we barely talk because we just aren't close anymore. I understand that. I understand that a lot. What do we got here? Me too. My mom had a few boyfriends. The one she's not with now is a dick. Sorry to hear that, sir. Rude guy, and when we see him, no connection. But overall, we put up with him. It is what it is. I've also separated myself from most of my family. I can tell you have a high intellect. No, I really don't. My mom fucked me up because she always dated random dudes when I was younger. Once I was old enough to move in with my dad, I did. Fun fact, interesting fun fact. What was the worst injury I ever had? Unless you guys meet me in real life, you'll never notice this, but a lot of people that watch the videos and then meet me at, say, my beer festival or meet me on the street and all that have noticed it because I've told the story a few times. But my right foot, okay, you know how most people's feet are straight? My right foot's turned out like this. And the reason my right foot's turned out like that is I got in a street fight when I was... I would have been about 18 at the time, and it was me and my buddy. Who was with me that night? I think it was Kyle and Lars. I'm gonna have to call them and see if it was them. But there was three of us, and there was like 8 other guys. And again, I did strongman. I did the Highland Games. I was a wrestler, rugby player. I was mean. I was big. I was strong. If I hit you, you were done. If I didn't hit you, you could easily get to me because I'm blind. But it was 3-on-8, and in the end, I ended up getting hit in the knee with a sledgehammer, and it shattered my knee. There's a couple bolts in there. There's part of the kneecap is missing, and it took me out of wrestling for a full year. And I was really good at wrestling, so that pissed me off. And I was never the same wrestler after that. I was still good, but I was never the same after that. And yeah, my legs fucked. So what I would start doing is I stopped washing my knee pad for that leg, so it smelt horrendous. And I would always lead with that leg. It was my bad leg, but I would always put that knee forward because that knee had the knee pad that hadn't been washed in like 3 or 4 years by the time I was done university. And no one would shoot on that leg. So that saved me a lot of leg injuries after that. Yeah, but that was the worst I ever had. Other than that, I had a wrestling match in Ottawa at St. Mark's. It was St. Mark's. It was in the West End, Ottawa. Yeah, so St. Mark's, because St. Paul is East End. Or am I wrong? One of them is East and one of them is West. I was at the West End one because it was the Ottawa. It was the National Capital Championships, so the regional championships. And the guy could never beat me. He'd wrestled me like 4 times, and he'd never been able to beat me. And actually, in my weight class back then was Devin Nicholson. Devin Nicholson tried to become a professional wrestler in the WWE. He actually had his name in the indie series was Hannibal, and he had a developmental contract with the WWE, but he wrestled Abdullah the Butcher, and Abdullah the Butcher bled him with the same razor he bled himself, and Abdullah the Butcher has Hep C, so Devin now has Hep C. So Devin took that experimental drug that's supposed to cure you of Hep C, but he's still legally claimed as being Hep C, though he's not contagious anymore, so he's still not allowed in the WWE. But it was cool that I wrestled a guy that ended up in the WWE. But so Devin was my first match, beat him. It was 6-2 in the final. Sean McKay, who I usually wrestled for gold, was my next match. And Sean McKay, like I said, me and him usually wrestled all the time for gold. I beat him by 1 point. It was 9-8 when the match was over. And then I was against one of Sean McKay's teammates. I can't even remember this kid's name, and I can't believe I can't remember him because he actually fucked up my shoulder pretty good too. And he shot on me, had me in a double leg, so I was up on his shoulder, and he was walking to the edge of the mat. And, he got to the end of the circle. The referee blew the whistle, and he walked 2 more steps so he was on the concrete floor and dropped me. And my shoulder hit the concrete floor first, and back then I was, like I said, 300 pounds, so I fucked my shoulder good. And, yeah, it was an intriguing time. What do we have here next? Have you ever had many beers from the Unibrew line in general? I've had most of the Unibrew line, to be honest. Even the just regular Unibrew beers, like the Unibrew Roos and stuff like that. I've had most of the Unibrew line. Thanks to Guy Lachance from Drinking in Canada, or Dick. He ended up sending me a lot of them, and then we get a lot of them here. Mr. Angus Wangus, laugh out loud at the knee pad. Yeah, it worked. Member dude, if you don't mind me asking, what have you done as a career, or what are you currently doing for work? I'm thinking of becoming a plumber because it seems to be, will never be automated. Yeah, it's true. What am I doing now? I work in Niagara Falls' largest employer as a bartender, a bar porter, which is basically a glorified bar back, and as a pump room attendant, which is the shipping, receiving, and the guy that controls the kegs and the liquor dispensing system and all that. My full-time position is a bar porter, but I work as all three. Whatever they need me as that day is what I do. Other than that, and basically it's the best job in the area, working in this building, because it's technically a government building. That's all I'm going to say. Technically a government building. Now, other than that, I've been a bouncer. I've been a garbage man. I've been a janitor. I've been a McBitch at McDonald's, so working on the McDonald's grill line. I've been the McDonald's maintenance guy. I've been the dough master at a Pizza Hut. Bouncing and the garbage man were probably the 2 favorite things I've done. I've done bartending in other places. I've done a lot of things, but none of them were really all that great. At one point, I was working 3 jobs, and I was working as a shipper, receiver, and a maintenance guy at Excess Cargo, which was a liquidation store. I was working as the dough master at Pizza Hut in St. Catharines, and I was working as a bouncer and bar manager in St. Catharines. So, I mean, I've done a lot of shit around there. From AP, imagine if you're thinking of trades, things like stationary engine mechanics is better. Nearly every company needs to employ at least one, so it's super stable and well-paying. Plumbing can be spotty at times. It's true, plumbing can be spotty at times. Belligerent hula blue. I've had 6 near-death experiences myself. Born without a heartbeat because of the cord being wrapped around my neck. That sucks. 45 ACP hollow point. That sucks too. Glad that that went okay. I'll look into it. Planning on going to Mohawk College, and they offer many different trade courses. I thought plumbing would be good because I didn't think there were any plumbers. Plumbing, once you get into the plumbing union, that's where things get spotty. I thought about doing trades too. I was thinking about locksmith and stuff, but I mean, I'm blind. I can't do trades. The problem is not that I don't know how to do the stuff. It's that I can't drive myself places, and people need you to have a license too, so you can drive to the jobs. Artery, horrible car wreck, nearly drowned. Diabetic kiddo, whatever the fuck that is. Is that when your blood pressure just plummets? And blood going septic from a nasty infection, that sucks too, man. I know a lot of people have gone septic from like bug bites and stuff, gotten blood poisoning. Remember, dude, yeah, that would have them fire you. That would have them fire you. I am going to go and take a urination break. Now, the problem is that there is nobody here but me, so there's no one to talk to you guys. So ask some questions while I'm going. Give me like 30 seconds. Oh, dog! Whoa! Hey, guys. Hey. What you doing? What you doing? What you doing? Yeah, I love you too. Oh, I almost put the fucking headphones on again. Just a force of habit. Just a force of habit. I almost put them on again. See what's going on over here. Super high blood pressure, basically, your body creates acetone. Just eats away on you. Okay, yeah. You know what? AP Imagine. It is one of the things that actually bothers me is how many channels don't actually talk to other people. I mean, I get a lot of comments every day, and I try once a week to go through and answer them all. I mean, I used to do them every day as I got them, and that just took up too much time. So I usually say, okay, on this day a week, I'm going to spend the hour it takes to answer them all, and that's the way it is. And then even when we do any of our live stuff, when we do the big panel where there's 7, 8, 9 of us, there's always somebody watching the comments. And every 5, 10 minutes, we get into the comments and deal with them. But I enjoy doing this shit here too, where we just chat about this stuff. Delirium Tremens is a fantastic beer, and I'm surprised it's actually sold in Ontario because of the name, since the Delirium Tremens is the trembles from being an alcoholic. And, we're a nanny state that doesn't let stuff like that happen. Rhino is just cool to listen to. I like listening to older guys talk because they know what they're talking about. Who said I'm older? I just have white hair because I'm albino. Actually, there would be a good thing. How old do you guys think I am? I won't say yes or no. I just want to know how old you guys think I am. Mr. Angus Wangus, you're right. You are a geezer, sir. Yeah, well, I'm older than 23, that's for sure. And here's the thing, right? I will be completely honest. Politically, I'm a weird guy. Politically, I don't just side with one party. I side with the candidate and the party platform that actually goes the same way I think. So some years I will, like some elections, I vote for one party. The next election, I'll vote for another party. Whoever lines up with my beliefs the most. And there are topics that are killers for me. Like, even if this is my party, if they're against this topic, then I can't vote for them. But after that, after I find out who it is, then I look at who my representative is. And my representative, if I don't like that person, I don't know if I can vote for them. For instance, truthfully, I'm different federally than I am provincially. Federally, I'm more liberal. Provincially, I'm more conservative. I usually vote for a conservative party in my province, and I usually vote for a liberal party outside my province. The last election, when Justin Trudeau was elected, I couldn't vote for Justin Trudeau because of one of his stances on something that something that Stephen Harper was doing. So I couldn't vote for him because of that. It totally dropped him, even though I'm more liberal than anything else when it comes to federal government. I couldn't vote for Stephen Harper because of his beliefs on a few of the things on there. The McClare was the closest, the NDP leader was the closest to my beliefs. However, the person that was the representative of the NDP in Niagara Falls has a horrible track record of helping Niagara Falls with anything, so I couldn't vote for him. So I abstained in the last election. I actually rarely do that, but I wasn't going to give my vote to anybody I didn't believe in. So, yeah. Alrighty, Fury, have a good one. 1974 Texas Chainsaw Massacre is awesome. And say bye-bye to Donna for me. And actually, AP, imagine that's exactly why I was on his side. Okay, back to the comment section here. Sorry, I was just answering something quick. Shit, man, this fan base is woke. I've had a lot of concussions. I don't know what you mean. There's 7 of you, though, and only 3 of you are talking to me, so it's not that much. Well, 4 of you with Mr. Angus Wangus. And Mr. Angus Wangus is a bad slave. He's an old geezer. Yeah. I'm in Idaho, so watching this latest election down here was quite the shit show. I bet you it was. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to turn off the camera for a second. I do have one thing to read. I did just get a news story sent to me. Very intriguing news story that I have to decide what my thoughts are by next week. So I have to at least quickly read it while I'm talking to you guys. I can't say it yet, because if I say it yet, I can't use it next week on BDU. I can't use it on BDU if I talk about it right now. So yeah, you guys are on your own to try and figure out what the amazing news story. Who said it's amazing? I just did, but it's not amazing. It's intriguing. Okay. I'm okay with that. Yeah. So, like I said, we're going to be gearing up on the collaboration brews for the Canadian Mental Health Association. I have picked a date for the 2018 Albino Rhino Beer Festival. We'll see if it actually can come about or not. I don't know how easy it's going to be to do with just myself doing everything, but we'll try. We'll see what goes on. Oh. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's see here. What do we have here? I got some Old Vienna instead of Canadian. I've been enjoying it. Yeah, I enjoy Old Vienna myself there, Memer dude. Like I said, it's my Seriously? Calm, boy. Okay, calm down. Yeah, Old Vienna is my my macro of choice. So say hello. Say hello, Boris. Okay, you can go back on bed. Get up there. There you go. Okay, you get up there and fight with him. Go ahead. Okay, yeah. So Old Vienna is my my macro of choice. Oh, what do we have here? Am I big with pairing beers with cheese? I have paired beers with cheese. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily big on it. I love cheese. I'm a big guy. I have to love cheese, right? You have to get big somehow. Excuse me. Oh, I love me some like smoked whiskey cheeses and stuff like that. Gouda is great. I usually buy a sliver of Gouda anytime it's on clearance. It just melts so well. It just bubbles out. It's beautiful. Limburger is good with some beers, but it's very overpowering at the same time. But yeah, I do that. Since you're a fan of urban exploration and haunted places, do you have any fun stories in that area? I don't know if I really have fun stories in that area. We've been, me and my buddies have been to Centralia twice. Centralia is the city that they based Resident Evil, no, not Resident Evil, Silent Hill off of. Basically, there was a tire dump, and it was a big coal mining town, and the dump caught on fire, and it sparked in one of the coal veins. It went underground, and they were fighting it for days and days and days. And then a holiday was coming up, and they couldn't afford to pay the firefighters for the holiday, so they said take a day off. And within that day, the fire made it so deep that they couldn't put it out ever again. So it has enough fuel to burn for hundreds of years. And there's a big stretch of highway that's closed down because the fire underneath it has made it dangerous. You like the ground can collapse. The highway is burst open in places and all that, and there's smoke coming out of the ground. It's a really cool place. And one of the first photos we took there was it was me, Boy Chuck, and the cantankerous cook Paul. And one of the first bits of spray paint was "I fucking hate Paul," so we got Paul to lay on the ground, took a picture of that. That was fun to find. The graffiti in a lot of the places you explore is saddening. I mean, just leave the stuff alone. Why do you have to graffiti everything? It loses its value. It loses its appeal once everything is covered in graffiti. Broken into a few places I shouldn't have. I shouldn't really talk about that online. I've snuck into a few places that I shouldn't have, and I've had my memory cards taken from me by the military in both Canada and the U.S. I've had some good things happen. I've seen some really cool things too. Eastern State Penitentiary in Philly is a cool place to visit if you want to see something really intriguing. A lot of the prison is still pristine, and a lot of the prison isn't pristine. It's destroyed and falling apart, and it's a great thing to walk through. And if you go around Halloween, they also have a haunted house, which is a full cinematic, full theatric presentation, should I say. There's hundreds of people that work for it, and on the bus ride to the prison to do your ghost tour, they tell you all the ghost stories of the place. And then they do the ghost house and let you leave. And it's an awesome place. I went there with my ex and with my good friend Victoria, and we had a lot of fun there. They're also two of the people that went to Centralia with me the first time. We also did the Crystal Mines, which is in Frackville, Pennsylvania. We did the Asheville coal mine in Pennsylvania, which at one point in that tour they turn off the lights completely. That's a cool place. I have been into a few power plants I'm not allowed to be into, and there's a lot of cool things you can find in a lot of places, especially older places. Like you get into some of the older buildings in abandoned places where they didn't have the proper sewer set up, where they had the pit that you could climb down the ladder and you're basically in the sewer. Those are cool fucking places to see. When I used to visit my buddy Ray, who is like a brother to me in Cornwall, we used to play tag, and we played tag in the Cornwall sewer system, because the Cornwall sewer system used to have boards above the water. Like it was a fairly it's not like say Boston sewers or things where it's only like 5 feet high. It was like a 10-foot high thing, and they had boards across the pipes where you could actually run. And yeah, we did that a lot. Not going to torture myself with Brava 5.5 anymore. Good to hear, sir. Hey, Rhino, what's the best brewery in Ottawa if I only have time to stop at one or two? Oh, best brewery in Ottawa if you only have time to stop at one or two. What's even in Ottawa now? Has anything new opened up? The good thing with Ottawa is a lot of the breweries are so close together that you could stop at a lot of them, even if you only had time for one or two. There are some that are really far apart, but a lot of them are really close. So it's finding, ones that are close together and hitting them up. Beyond the Pale is probably one that you have to hit in Ottawa. Tooth and Nail is like right beside Beyond the Pale. Where's Bicycle Brewing? Where is... Okay. Here, let me just open up this map quickly. Okay, I'm going to turn off the camera so you don't see my head while I look at this quick. But yeah, there are a lot of good breweries in Ottawa, and there's a lot of breweries I haven't had in Ottawa, so I can't really talk about them. But like, okay, here we go. So Nita Brewing is a really nice brewery, but it's really out on its own. It's the only things close to it is Whippersnapper and Broadhead, which neither of those are places you really have to stop at, and Big Rig's Kitchen and Brewery. So they're right on the Nepean border. Kitchissippi is within 20 minutes of that, but again, it's not anything you really have to go to. However, what do we have here? We have if you like distilleries, Bicycle Brewing is basically a street away from North of 7, and Guy loves North of 7. He says it's amazing. Um, Waller Street and Clock Tower are really close together. I've never had anything from Waller Street, so I don't. I know that Dale from Brew by Me, who used to be a beer blogger, he works at Waller Street. But yeah, Tooth and Nail and Beyond the Pale are really close together. If you can get to Beyond the Pale, you might as well hit Tooth and Nail as well. And Vimy Brewing is pretty close to them. I've never had anything from Vimy Brewing, but they're really close together too. But yeah, that's a little triangle that would probably take you like 30 minutes to do. And then really everything else is farther out. If you wanted to hit Broken Stick, you could, but I wouldn't know why you'd want to. That just sounded bad. Bicycle has really awesome people. Nita has really awesome people. Broadhead is okay. Whippersnapper is intriguing. Whippersnapper is one of the only commercial breweries I know that does all bag brewing. So they have industrial barrels with food safe bags, and they have beer ferments in the food safe bags. Way up on the other end, on the far side of Ottawa, you have Broken Stick and Dominion, which are basically side by side. And then Stray Dog is much farther down the road. Can you two shut up? Stray Dog is further down the road. But yeah, like I would probably do, for sure I would do Beyond the Pale. And if you're doing things around them, there's a few things around them. And then if you're going, it also matters if you're on the east or west side of Ottawa. I mean, Beyond the Pale is west side Ottawa. East side Ottawa is Dominion City and Broken Stick. I don't really like Broken Stick. The guy rubbed me the wrong way. But people like his beer, so I don't know. It might be okay. Bicycle's awesome, though. Him and his wife are amazing people. Yeah, so if you were thinking Tooth and Nail anyway, go to Tooth and Nail and Beyond the Pale. Beyond the Pale is probably currently Ottawa's best brewery, and they're both they're not side by side, but they're close. They're within a few blocks. Helga is the more dominant of the two. She does mount him quite often. Yeah, I've been to Broken Stick. When me, Dale, and Guy did a Ottawa brewery tour where we did beerumentary videos at 7 breweries in one day, and Broken Stick was the last stop because it was just minutes from Guy's house. And by the time I got there, I wasn't fully sober anymore, shall we say, and the guy rubbed me the wrong way. His beer wasn't that great. The setup wasn't that great. I just didn't care. By the time we got there, I'm like, and within 5 minutes of talking to the guy before we even turned the cameras on, I'm like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to give this guy a bunch of free publicity because I don't like the guy. But I did it, and yeah. It is what it is. So, could things be different now? I don't know. It's been years since I was there for that. But he rubbed me the wrong way there. I'm surprised, personally, from meeting him then. I'm surprised he's still open. I'm surprised he still is in business. Can you two stop? Because something rubbed me the wrong way. I am drinking, and for the people that know the inside joke, I'm drinking Luggo Tread by Bose, but really it's Bose Lug Tread, which is a Kolsch. Bose is up in the Ottawa area, Van Cleek Hill, Ontario, where there is more cows than people. And the brewery basically takes up the entire city, well, town, hamlet, not even hamlet, probably smaller than a hamlet, I'd say. But good drinking Kolsch, 600 milliliter bottle. Has a smaller footprint than a 500 and a 650. So that's what they use. All organic brewery. For those that don't know, the brewery itself. It is 100% organic. They have right now it's 80% of their energy is renewable, done in house between their solar panels and their in the fields and the heat reclamation systems and everything else. They do basically everything there, and it's Ontario's only brewery that is entirely employee owned. To make sure that they could never be bought out by a big company, they ended up giving stock to all their employees. Remember, dude, if it was a small, geeky French guy with glasses, it probably was the same guy. I don't even know if I ended up posting the broken stick video, to be honest, because I disliked the guy that much. You could see it even in my face while I was talking to him. I'm like, yeah, I dislike you. I don't want to give you any more of my money or time. But they had a brew house, and I don't know how it passed code because he had to stand on it. Like he had to stand on the lip to be able to reach the top, and he was the one brewing at the time. So how he was able to make it pass code when it didn't have a staircase or anything built is beyond me. Because, like I said, he legitimately had to stand on it and hold on to the lip to reach up and pour stuff into it. And then you had the fact that it was an old system that wasn't really meant to be a brew house. So it had a lip. It was a drip lip basically for boiling stuff out for it to drip back in. And I'm like, you don't want that in your system. Oh, I will do it the way I want. Okay, do it the way you want it. I don't understand what you're doing here. Oh, people are leaving. There's only 6 of you left. Who's still here? Roll call by asking a question. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Say something. Say something, guys. Hey, guys. Oh. Camera off for a second. Gotta deal with something. Move. Go. So we sat here and we talked about, how well trained my dogs are and everything else. Well, one of them, and I can tell you which one it was because I know exactly what happened. And it was they were getting beat up so much it happened. But one of them just pissed in the bed. Awesome. Awesome. Just what I wanted. Dog piss in the bed. As soon as I clean this up, I'll just grab the cell phone and we'll go for another walk outside again. And we'll let them pee again. But while I'm doing this, the camera's just going to be off. Good thing I have a bed downstairs so I can clean this up and then sleep in the basement tonight. You know what a ShamWow is great for? Getting dog urine out of the bed. Fucking dogs. You guys are lucky I love you. Here, there's off. So damn lucky I love you. Walking in circles here trying to find my spray bottle. Where's my spray bottle of enzyme cleaner? Okay, got the enzyme cleaner. Got the enzyme cleaner. Enzyme clean the bed. Get off. Go. Okay. Now use this. Okay, now let's get the cell phone and let's go outside. Let's let them pee. I don't know what you guys are saying. I can't see anything you're doing because that's just the awesome way this works. We'll read the comments when we get back. Let's take these puppers outside. Yeah. So let's do this. Let's go outside, go pee-pee, guys. Alrighty, so yeah. Intriguing thing to deal with. That's the first time that's happened in 3 months. And it was Helga that did it too. You know, the bigger of the two dogs, it holds more urine. That was because she was getting beat up over a bone. Oh, while we're out here, we can tell this story. So my first beer festival, we had a bunch of beer tubers come up from all over North America. P.A. Brunus was here. Lee L. Harlock was here. Nick Maxwell Starr was here. Guy was here. Average Joe. We had a bunch of guys all here. And get off the table and go pee. There's a fucking Mastiff German Shepherd standing on top of my patio table right now. And if it wasn't dark out here, I'd show it to you. But yeah, so they were here. They came out for the festival. Let's go pee-pee. Go pee-pee. And Paul was the first one to show up, and he comes up in his Jag. He drives his Jag here, and he stops, and we get drunk, and we have a bunch of pepperettes and everything else, and then we're supposed to be somewhere at like 10 a.m. the next morning. So we go and we get in his Jag. It turns the key, and it's in idle mode, where you can only go like 5 kilometers an hour. And he's like, I don't know what the fuck happened. I drove all the way here from Pennsylvania. Like, it was perfectly fine. I get to the Commonwealth and it just dies. It doesn't want to go back to the fucking colonies. It's here. It's in its home. And yeah, so we end up putting a computer on it to find out its codes. And its codes are, you know, you're having an air intake problem and this and that and this and that. And then he's trying to find parts for his Jag. And the parts for his Jag, he can't get here at any point in time in the near future. And the ones he could get were like 4 times as expensive as they would be if he bought them in the US. So, you know, he's all worked up for the rest of the time. But we had rides around. We were able to get that dealt with. But when it came time to go home, you know, his wife kept calling him going, when are you coming home? It's Easter weekend. You need to be home. He's like, my car is dead. No, you don't. Your car's not dead. You just don't want to come home. You want to be with your friends. My car is dead. In the end, Average Dad and Average Joe drove him to the Pennsylvania border, and his mom picked him up. Well, his ex's mom picked him up at the Pennsylvania border and brought him home. His Jag stayed in my garage. Now, his Jag is worth a lot of money. I'm in a part of town that isn't worth a lot of money. And at one point, my garage door falls off. So I'm trying to put the garage door back on, and people are walking by looking in my garage at this Jag. It was only an X series, but it's still a Jag. They're looking at this Jag in my garage going, ooh, you know, for months I'm listening to my ex-wife about when's this Jag when's this Jag getting out of the garage? When are you getting rid of this Jag? When's he coming to get his Jag? Get the car out of the garage. I wanna work out. I can't work out with the car in the garage. Get the car out of the garage. My electrical trainer's in the garage. I want to work out. Blah 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 blah. So the festival was in April. He comes to get his Jag in August or September. I can't remember exactly which. Well, that festival was in 2014. It's 2017 now. Since the car's been gone, that elliptical trainer was never touched. Like, what the fuck, woman? What the fuck? You freaked out on me for months to get this thing out of there, and then you haven't touched your elliptical trainer? However, I did wipe my sack on the door handle of his Jag, because I'm like that. And yeah, it is what it is. Let's get back to the bedroom now. See, I don't get why there's a feedback there, because I don't have the microphone on this camera. So there's no reason for there to be feedback. No reason. Okay, let's see how the comments are going here. Do you wish you could beat him with a stick until it broke? No, I'm not very violent at all, to be honest with you. Only am when I have to be. Then you'd have two sticks to beat him with. That's true. Wow, I was gone for a few minutes and none of you guys are talking about anything. Mr. Angus Wangus, do you have a computer yet? Are you able to join us yet? Because I'm now that there's 4 of you and you're not talking, I'm probably going to go offline soon. But I will post the join link before I go offline, and if any of you want to join and continue chatting, we can. I just won't keep doing it online because I'm getting to the point where I'm going to start talking about things I shouldn't talk about online. And yeah, that's never something I really should do. What the hell photo did I comment on? Oh, that. Okay. You ever get messages like, oh, somebody commented on this photo that you commented on. You don't remember anything about it. You're like, what the fuck are you talking about? I commented on this. I don't remember commenting on this. Oh, yeah. How about that NHL preseason, guys? How about those Ottawa Senators? Yeah. Go Sens, go. That's all I have to say about that. Go Sens, go. I'm so glad to have seen them beat Toronto, 6-1 and 6-2? That made me happy. Made me happier than you could believe. Much happier than you could believe, to be honest. And now, apparently, the Senators are after Matt Duchene, which really could help them, especially with all the injuries they have. But, yeah. It is what it is. What's going on over here now? Oh, Dominion selling online. Do they ship all across Ontario? And who would be next? I don't know. Like I said, I didn't realize that they started doing it. I still love that Half Hours on Earth does it. The fact that Barley Days does it is great. County Brewing does it, but they only ship to local. And I mean, that's the thing, right? I don't care if they're online unless they're online for all of Ontario. Highlander does it, which is fine. Collective Arts. Who else? Is there anyone else? Barley Days, Collective Arts, Highlander. half hours on Earth. I think that's there's a bunch of ciders that do it now too. But if those two are across Ontario, I'll have to check them out because I haven't had much from Dominion. And Stack I've had a lot from, but not everything. So actually, I'm going to just quickly open their web pages here right now. I'm not going to look at them. I'm just going to I'm not going to look at them. I mean, I'm not going to try and find out. I'm going to open the stuff so I could actually look into it. You know who would make sense for them to do it is. Well, actually, it doesn't even make sense. I was going to say Nickelbrook, but most of their beers are available pretty much everywhere, so it doesn't make sense for them to do it really. However, another brewery that would be able to do it, which Inocente, anyone could do it. It's just who wants to take the time to do it. But Inocente isn't in a lot of LCBOs. It would make sense for them to do it for distribution, especially because they often have a lot of leftover. And that's what you're looking for, right? You're looking for a brewery that's going to have a lot of leftover that doesn't have distribution. So it would work for both for them. Nickelbrook only really has their specialty beers that are sought after, and everything else is available everywhere. Only 6-packs though. That's horrible. I want singles, man. I want singles. I want to be able to, be like, hey, I want to try all your beers, bitches. And then I'd be happy. Here's their online store. Black Rock 6-pack. Expansion 6-pack. Grand Picante 6-pack. That sounds intriguing. Hawaiian Uppercut 6-pack. Impact 6-pack. La Cloche 6-pack. Nickel City 6-pack. Yeah, there's so many beers I want to try on here. I can't order them all. I'd go broke. Oh, wait, here's a variety pack. What's in the variety pack? It's a 6-pack variety pack. What do we have? La Coche, Picante, Stack 72, Panache, Valley Girl. Oh, it's out of stock. How is it out of stock? It's not out of stock, you lying motherfuckers. You can fucking make your own fucking 6-pack. You just fucking take a single from every one of them. It's not like it's a fucking closed 6-pack. You use those fucking top things. Sorry about that. That angers me. Oh, our variety pack's out of stock. All 6 beers are in stock, though. But our variety pack is out of stock. No, it isn't, you lying pieces of fucking shit. Okay, so they only have 5 beers for sale on Dominion City, but I mean that's nice. I mean, I have only had the Earl Grey Marmalade Saison, but I think I had a barrel-aged version, to be honest with you. So I could probably buy all 5 of these. It just comes down to what's it cost for shipping. But that I'm okay with. That doesn't bother me. I'm still bothered by the fucking 6-pack piece of shits over here at Stack. Fuck you guys. Fuck you. Have a good night there, belligerent hullabaloo. Thank you for joining us and chatting around. Well, that's just it. If I could do a mix 6 of my own stuff, I would be in heaven. But I'm going to log off. I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to come and join me if you want to. I'm going to drop the join link right here, and if somebody comes in the next few minutes, I'll keep talking. If somebody doesn't, I'm going offline. Awesome, belligerent. I have to get my passport first, and hopefully that happens sometime soon. But have a good night, guys. Again, here's the join link if you want to join. And going offline now. Bye-bye. Thank you for joining me and hanging out. And again, you can join in and continue hanging out if you want.